Chapter 725. There's inflammation? Xiao Qin was stunned. It's a gynecological problem. Xiao Xiao said, why are you asking so carefully? Xiao Xiao, gynecological problems for girls are not a small matter. You should take a closer look. However, Xiao Qin said seriously, you mustn't ignore it. It might affect your fertility or something. Brother, why are you nagging? The doctor told me that it's about my physique. It's a little complicated. He said that I'll be fine if I have a boyfriend. Do you understand? Xiao Xiao said impatiently, why don't we do it with real knives and guns at night? I'll be fine. You're getting more and more frivolous. Xiao Qin said angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? Who asked you to ask so many questions? Xiao Xiao pouted. I'm just concerned about you. Xiao Qin was dumbfounded. Aren't you bickering with me? I'm not. This is the truth. Why don't we do it together? Anyway, it's fine as long as I don't get pregnant. Xiao Xiao wasn't so bold before the DNA test, but now she was simply a little unscrupulous. She could no longer suppress her feelings for Xiao Qin. In the past, Xiao Xiao still restrained herself because of her family, the opinions of outsiders, and the truth of the matter. Although she liked Xiao Qin, she wasn't so unscrupulous. But now it was different. Obviously, she had no blood relationship with Xiao Qin. Why couldn't they be together? If Xiao Qin was still the loser from before, it would be fine. Although Xiao Xiao had the intention, Xiao Qin had to face the responsibility of the outside world and the disappointment of his family. In the past, the Xiao family needed her own marriage to grow, but now the Xiao family didn't need this at all. Xiao Qin alone was enough, so Xiao Xiao felt that she should find her own happiness instead of being bound by the family's concept. Xiao Xiao, if you talk nonsense again, I'm really angry. Xiao Qin's face changed. He didn't expect Xiao Xiao to say such words. In the end, Xiao Qin was still a relatively traditional person. He couldn't accept a brother and sister being together. He wasn't an uncivilized primitive. How could he do this? Even if he told Xiao Xiao not to get pregnant and not to have children, the impact might be relatively small, but Xiao Qin still couldn't accept it. What's there to be angry about? You read those comics. For example, My Sister Can't Be So Cute. Have you read them? Xiao said. So you've read too many comics, your mind is filled with nonsense. Xiao Qin said angrily, I'll burn them when we get home. They're not biological siblings. Xiao Xiao immediately explained. Nonsense, why didn't I see anything that said they weren't related? The siblings are both perverts. One has a brother complex while the other has a sister complex. Xiao Qin said angrily, you're not allowed to watch it in the future. Gu is. Brother, Qin Qin, brother is Xiao Xiao. You've read it too? You're still talking about me? Are you also a siscon? Otherwise, why do you read so many comics? Xiao Xiao suddenly seemed to have discovered a new continent. Ahem. Xiao Qin blushed. You bought the comics. I was bored and flipped through them. But since you know that they aren't biological siblings, why did you say it? We are biological siblings. That's not necessarily true. Maybe they aren't? Xiao Xiao blinked. Why don't we have a baby and see if it's mentally retarded? How about we do it tonight? Is what you said true? Xiao Qin's face was very ugly. Yeah. Xiao Xiao nodded. Bah. Xiao Qin finally couldn't help but slap Xiao Xiao. Although he didn't use much strength, it could be seen from Xiao Qin's trembling hand that Xiao Qin was really angry at this moment. Brother, you hit me? Xiao Xiao couldn't believe it. It's a light slap. Xiao Qin's expression was serious. He took a deep breath and said, Xiao Xiao, now I finally understand why you don't want to be with Qi Zhigao. I also know why you always dress so revealing in front of me and you are so intimate. What do you mean? Xiao Xiao stuttered. If you didn't mention the comics, I wouldn't have thought of it. When you mentioned the comics, I figured it out. You like me? Xiao Qin frowned. No wonder you are so hostile to Qing Menjing and Xinjing Xian. So what? Xiao Xiao simply stopped pretending. She boldly looked straight at Xiao Qin. I just like you. You are mine. You have been since you were young. They took you away. Isn't that enough for me to hate them? What did I do wrong? You. Xiao Qin looked at Xiao Zhao's confident look. He really didn't know what to say. Xiao Xiao, you aren't young anymore. Can you let grandpa and second uncle not worry about you? Can they be happy if you do this? Do you want our Xiao family to be as embarrassing as Qiao Yuling? Ha ha ha. Xiao Xiao suddenly laughed. She laughed forward and back. What do you mean? What's wrong with you, Xiao Xiao? Xiao Qin was stunned and a little stunned. Originally, Xiao Xiao looked like she was facing death calmly. Why did she suddenly laugh? Ha, brother, you are so funny. You really have a good imagination. Xiao Xiao laughed until she couldn't catch her breath. I like you, but it's the kind of worship for my brother. It's not wrong for me to be angry at Qing Minjing and Xin Jingxian, but this is also normal. My brother originally loves his sister, but now he loves his girlfriend. There is nothing wrong with this. Then you? Xiao Qin looked at Xiao Xiao doubtfully. Don't worry, it's not as serious as you said. I'm just joking. I'm just testing if you're a siscon or not. If you really want to push me down, I won't dare to play with you anymore. Xiao Xiao laughed. Gosh, you scared me to death. Xiao Qin was speechless. You are really scaring people. I even hit you. Does it hurt? I know you can't bear to hit me. It doesn't hurt at all. Don't forget that I am also a martial artist. You don't even have the strength of an ordinary person. Xiao Xiao laughed indifferently. Next time don't scare me. You really scared me to death. Xiao Qin sighed. I thought there was something wrong with my sister's heart. You are the one who has a problem. Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes at Xiao Qin. Well, I was just joking. If I really had that intention, I would have seduced you when I was sleeping at night. You would have been hooked in your dreams. Why would I wait until now? I have slept with you since I was a child. You still want to say it? Xiao Qin glared. I won't say it anymore. Xiao Xiao stuck out her tongue. In fact, the latter words were to lie to Xiao Qin, but Xiao Xiao had no choice. She could see that Xiao Qin couldn't accept this relationship for a while, so she didn't say anything about the DNA. If she said it and Xiao Qin still didn't accept it, then there would be no room to turn back. So Xiao Xiao was very smart. She planned to take it step by step. First, she would make the relationship harmonious. It would be best to let Xiao Qin like her a little. At that time there would be no problem. Gather, let's go. Xiao Qin pointed to the students not far away. Let's go. Xiao Xiao nodded. In fact, there was nothing on the mountainside. After most of the students came up, they just took a photo as a souvenir. Then they walked around and prepared to leave. Seeing that everyone was gathered, Qin Muzhen also organized everyone to go down the mountain. It was easy to go up the mountain, but it was difficult to go down the mountain. First, the slope down the mountain was steep and difficult to walk. Second, everyone's strength was almost exhausted. Brother, I am tired. Carry me. Xiao Xiao didn't want to walk anymore. Aren't you a martial artist? Why are you so tired? Xiao Qin didn't believe it. Anyway, just tell me if you want to carry me or not. Xiao Xiao said shamelessly. Carry me? Xiao Qin also knew that Xiao Xiao was joking, so he didn't care. He squatted down. Xiao Xiao jumped up happily and hugged Xiao Qin's neck. This feels so much better. Be obedient. Xiao Qin warned. Hee hee. Xiao Xiao smiled mischievously. A group of people went down the mountain. Fortunately, everyone was young, so they weren't particularly tired. So, they quickly returned to the previous resort. Lunch had also begun. Everyone came to the restaurant one after another. They were also very hungry. After the food was served, they wolfed down the food. Brother, can you help me pick up a scallop? I want to eat it. Xiao Xiao said. You don't have hands? Xiao Qin said angrily. You used to help others when you were young. Xiao Xiao also said angrily. All right. Xiao Qin didn't say anything. He could only pick up the chopsticks and pick up a scallop for Xiao Xiao. You two are so loving. Qin Muzhen saw it from the opposite side. She smiled and teased, Thank you for today's matter. Don't mention it. It's nothing. Xiao Qin said with a smile, We are all classmates. How can we let others bully us when we go out together? I don't know where Gao Bisi went. He always bragged in class. He said that if we go out to play and encounter trouble, we can look for him. In the end, he disappeared. Qin Muzhen shook her head. This sports committee member is really unreliable. Xiao Qin said. He was dead, so of course he disappeared. However, he couldn't say this. He believed that the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would handle it. Besides, Wang Che killed him. It had nothing to do with him. After the meal, it was time to rest. In fact, they could leave. Those who had a car could leave first. Those who didn't have a car, Qin Muzhen would contact the bus in a while. Xiao Qin and Xiao Xiao went upstairs. As they walked, Xiao Qin asked, Can we go back this time? Yes, but I want to sleep. I'm a little tired from climbing the mountain in the morning. Xiao Xiao said, Brother, can you hug me later? Up to you. Xiao Qin really couldn't do anything about Xiao Xiao. The key was that this person was his own sister. They didn't avoid each other. If it was Xin Jingxian, Lu Shuangshuang or Tang Tang, they couldn't do this. However, this was also something that couldn't be helped. Who asked Xiao Qin to have only one sister? Back in the room, Xiao Xiao quickly took off her clothes and climbed into bed. It was too late for Xiao Qin to say anything. He could only lie next to her and cover her with another quilt. Chapter 726. Can I go to your bed? Xiao Xiao turned over and asked. No, who asked you to not wear anything? Xiao Qin refused sternly. It's just a joke. If you really want me to go, I won't go. What if you become a beast? Xiao Xiao curled her lips. As the two were talking, suddenly there was a commotion downstairs and a person's clamor. Who beat my Niu family dojo's people? Stand up. Today I, Niu Sanpao, promise to make them regret coming to this world. Downstairs of the resort, a huge voice was shouting. Brother, is he calling you? Xiao Xiao also heard it and immediately sat up and asked. As soon as she sat up, the quilt on her body slipped down, and the ravine in front of her chest entered Xiao Chen's eyes. Cough cough. Xiao Chen looked away with difficulty. He reminded himself not to think too much, but he was still a little annoyed. Xiao Xiao, pay attention. It's an urgent matter. You still care so much. People are coming to settle the score with you. You should go down quickly. Xiao Xiao reminded. I'll go take a look. Xiao Chen could only not look at Xiao Xiao. He opened the window and jumped down from the building. I'm still naked. I opened the window. It's freezing. Xiao Xiao shrank into the quilt. Where is the coward who beat people in the morning? Do you dare to come out if I call you? Niu Sanpao shouted. Bang. But as soon as his voice fell, he was stepped on. It turned out that Xiao Chen fell from the sky and directly stepped on his head. Damn who? Who stepped on me? Don't you want to live? How can someone jump off a building? Niu Sanpao got up from the ground and looked at Xiao Chen with some anger. Can you change the place if you want to die? Don't affect others, okay? Tell me you jumped on my head. Oh, I did it on purpose. Xiao Chen smiled. Are you looking for death? Niu Sanpao was stunned. All right. You wanted to jump off the building and die. You didn't die because you wanted to provoke me and make me kill you, right? I won't fall for it. Get lost, I'm going to find someone. Oh, I am the person you are looking for. Xiao Chen was speechless when he heard Niu Sanpao's words. Why does it seem like there's something wrong with this person's brain? You. Stop bullshitting. You think you can beat Wang Dao? Niu Sanpao sized up Xiao Chen with a look of disbelief. I was the one who hit him. If you have something to say, then say it. If not, then leave. Xiao Chen could also see that this Niu Sanpao was an idiot. He was a martial arts practitioner, yet he did not understand that there was no relationship between a cultivator's level and their physique. You. Niu Sanpao sized up Xiao Chen and said, since you want to take responsibility, then there's nothing more to say. Why did you injure someone from my dojo for no reason? For no reason? Did he tell you that? Xiao Chen asked in amusement. That's right. Niu Sanpao nodded and said, you guys were on the mountain. Because of a small matter you had a dispute. As a martial arts master, you actually injured a 5th-stage martial artist. Don't you think it's too much? I, Niu Sanpao, am also a martial arts master, but I won't casually hit people. Just like just now, when I treated you as an ordinary person, even if you stepped on me, I wouldn't do anything to you because our levels are different. Oh, Xiao Chen smiled and said, you still want to talk about levels with me? I don't want to lie to you. Your subordinate called Wang Dao molested my classmate and said that he wanted my classmate to sleep with him at night. If you don't believe me, you can go back and ask him. Not only that, but he also slept with an ordinary person without any internal strength. That's why I attacked him. If he didn't tell you that, then you are being deceived. Why should I believe you? Niu Sanpao was a little annoyed. You hit someone and even framed Wang Dao. What are your intentions? If I want to kill you, it's as easy as flipping my hand. Xiao Chen said indifferently, the reason why I said so much to you is because your brain isn't very bright, but it's not bad. I'm afraid that you are being deceived. Otherwise, I would have slapped you away. Impossible. Niu Sanpao's eyes widened. You are lying. Why don't you try slapping me away? I'm also a 3rd-stage martial artist. Oh, do you really want to try? Xiao Chen looked at him and asked. Let's try. I'll stand here, you can slap me. Niu Sanpao said loudly. Xiao Chen waved his hand. Pa. Whoosh, Niu Sanpao flew out and fell heavily on the ground. He didn't get up for a long time. When he got up, he looked at Xiao Chen in shock. You are a demon general? Yes, so if I was unreasonable, I would have beaten you to death a long time ago. Do you think I'm lying to you by spouting so much nonsense? Xiao Chen nodded. That's not it. Niu Sanpao nodded. You are an expert, but you don't even bother to make a move on me. That Wang Dao must have his own problem. I will go back and teach him a lesson. Damn it, he dared to lie to me, see if I don't kill him. Oh right, I heard that your subordinates often bully people here and don't pay for staying in the resort. You should really manage it. Xiaoqin reminded. Really? Niu Sanpao was stunned, obviously he didn't know about these things. You will know if you investigate. Xiaoqin guessed that this person was deceived. With such a boss, the subordinates would definitely obey on the surface but oppose on the inside. This was something that couldn't be helped. Okay, thank you for today's matter. I will definitely repay you in the future. Niu Sanpao cupped his fist. I am from the Wang family of Tianfang and I manage the business here. Although I don't have much say in the Wang family, if you have a request in the future, I will definitely help to persuade you. Cough cough. Xiaoqin listened to Niu Sanpao and almost choked. That's not necessary. I also know him. Wang Fantian is my brother. Xiaoqin also said that Wang Tietio wanted to marry Lan Xinxin to him, but it was better not to say this. I can't be. It turns out that you are a friend of the young master. Niu Sanpao was disrespectful. No wonder you are strong and upright. When Niu Sanpao heard this, he quickly cupped his fists in fear and said, I will definitely discipline my men when I go back. Since you are the young master's friend, you definitely won't lie to me. I will go back and beat these bastards to death. Damn, they made me lose face in front of the young master's friend. Go. Xiaoqin waved his hand. Goodbye. Niu Sanpao respectfully cupped his fist, then turned around and left. Xiaoqin shook his head. He didn't expect the Niu family martial arts school to be the Wang family's business. It was really a coincidence. It was just that Xiaoqin didn't want to have any interaction with the Wang family. It was troublesome enough now. Wang Tietio was stationed at his house. If he didn't agree to this marriage, he really didn't know how to get rid of them. Fortunately, the Xiao family had a big business and they wouldn't go broke. If they wanted to stay, they could stay. Although the quarrel was quite loud, most of the students who were watching didn't know what was going on. They only saw Xiaoqin slap Niu Sanpao and then say a few words. Niu Sanpao was convinced and left. They all admired Xiaoqin very much. Even those boys who were unhappy that Xiao found a boyfriend had to admit that Xiaoqin was very powerful. At least in terms of strength and character, he was worthy of Xiao, and there was still a gap between them. Xiaoqin didn't jump up the stairs in a shocking manner. Instead, he walked up the stairs. Xiaochang, this Niu Sanpao came to look for trouble. Can he come back after he goes back? Qin Muzhen asked with some worry. No, I know the boss behind him. Xiaoqin smiled and said, unless he doesn't want to work anymore. That's good. Qin Muzhen nodded. Today's matter was successfully solved with Xiaoqian's help. He was also very happy. Qin Muzhen and Xiaoqian went upstairs. Xiaoqian returned to his room and Qin Muzhen also left. As soon as he entered the door, he saw that Xiao had already put on her clothes. Hey, you're quite quick this time. You didn't put on your clothes in front of me. Xiaoqian was a little surprised. Do you really think she wants to seduce you? Xiao said angrily, it's just a coincidence. I didn't avoid you too much. I let you take advantage of me a few times. How can there be a good thing every time? She's not your wife. You go and look for Tang and Xinjingxian. Well then I'll go to Tang's place tonight. Xiaoqin smiled and said. No. Xiao immediately said, you have to accompany me. If you want to see, go and see during the day. I'm busy during the day. I don't have time. Xiaoqin smiled bitterly. Besides, it's not right to lock Tang and Xiao family in the same room during the day. I don't care. Xiao picked up the small bag. Let's go home. Let's go. Xiaoqin nodded. When they returned to the Xiao family, Xiaoqin was stopped by Wang Tietio. Grandpa Wang, what's the matter? Xiaoqin felt guilty when he saw this person. Do you agree or not? You're hiding again, aren't you? Hurry up and settle the marriage, then I can go back. Wang Tietio said, your place is really cold. I'm freezing to death every day. Oh, if Grandpa Wang feels cold, you can go back first. As for the marriage, we'll discuss it later. Xiaoqin said. Oh, you're right. Wang Tietio nodded in agreement. Right? Xiaoqin was overjoyed. Did Wang Tietio change his nature? Or did he finally couldn't stand the cold weather here and wanted to go home? Yeah, you've ked my granddaughter, then we should discuss it. Wang Tietio said. Cough cough cough. Xiaoqin listened to this and almost vomited blood. He looked at Wang Tietio in shock. He couldn't believe that Wang Tietio could say such a thing. Why are you looking at me? Isn't this what you said? Let's talk about it later. Now is the future. You say it? Wang Tietio asked as a matter of course. I think we can get along with each other first? Xiaoqun looked at Wang Tietio with a headache. Oh, then you think about it again. I'll stay for 2 more days. It's good here. If it's not cold, how can I smell the fragrance of plum blossoms? Wang Tietio nodded and turned away. Chapter 727. AI. Xiaoqun sighed. Brother, is there something going on between you and Lan Xinxin? Why is the Wang family relying on you? Xiao was puzzled. She felt that the Wang family was making a mountain out of a molehill. The Wang family was a real martial arts family. Their granddaughter didn't have anything going on with Xiaoqun. Even if she did, it wasn't like she couldn't get married. Didn't you see that little bitch, Chao Yuling, married well? So Xiao was puzzled. Is there something wrong with the Wang family? It's okay. Xiaoqun smiled bitterly. I'm not as close to her as you are. Oh, eh? That's not right. We both slept together. It's not as close as me. We hugged, right? Xiao suddenly said. That's not the case at all. Xiaoqun said, I'm confused by you. I really have nothing to do with her. Oh, so the Wang family wants to rely on you? Xiao nodded. They probably think that you are very powerful, so they want to dominate you. What's so powerful about me? Xiaoqun shook his head. The other party is a real martial arts family. Our Xiao family is an ordinary family. But you even dared to kill people from the Quishan sect. Xiao said. I didn't kill them at that time. Xiaoqun suddenly smiled bitterly. That's really strange. Xiao was also a little puzzled. What is going on? After thinking about it, she couldn't figure it out. She simply stopped thinking about it. Anyway, you are going to sneak away soon. Don't care about them then. I don't believe they will stay here forever. Xiao knew that Xiaoqun was leaving, so she didn't take the Wang family's matter seriously. Since Xiaoqun didn't agree, she just ignored it. Xiao wouldn't be jealous of Lan Xinxin. Well, tell Grandpa and second uncle that I will leave tomorrow morning. Xiaoqun sighed. I have to sneak away because I'm afraid that the Wang family will follow me. In fact, Xiaoqun still had some regrets. This time he basically accompanied everyone but Tang. However, time was tight. Xiao still pestered him at home, which made Xiaoqun feel a little sorry for her. Xiao seemed to see something. She hesitated and said with a smile, Tonight you can accompany Tang. I will go to Lan City to find you when I'm free. Xiao said. Xiao. Xiaoqun was startled, but he saw that Xiao had already turned around and left, leaving only her graceful back view. He had to admit that Xiao's figure was extremely good, but Xiaoqun didn't dare to be interested. Since he had gotten Xiao's approval, since when did he need her permission to pick up girls? Xiaoqun walked to Tang's room gloomily. Xiaoqun pushed the door directly and walked in. He didn't need to avoid Yu Xiaochuan or Tang. But what he saw shocked him. He saw Yu Xiaochuan sneakily putting on a skirt. After being caught by Xiaoqun, Yu Xiaochuan's face immediately turned red. She was a little embarrassed, but she still asked, Brother Xiao, do I look good in this dress? Where did you get this dress? Are you crazy? Xiaoqun was suddenly scared. Yu Xiaochuan, are you okay? Haha, I just thought that this dress looked good, so I bought it. Yu Xiaochuan was a little embarrassed. I'll go and change it back. No need. You continue. I'm going to find Tang. Xiaoqun didn't know what to say, so he simply didn't say it. Oh, Tang is in that room. You go ahead, Brother Xiao. I'll continue to study. Yu Xiaochuan saw that Xiaoqun didn't force him to take it off, so he said happily. Xiaoqun shook his head and came to the door of Tang's room. He didn't expect the door to be locked. He was slightly surprised and knocked on the door. Sister Yu, what's the matter? Tang asked. Sister Yu? Xiaoqun suddenly sweated. What kind of names do these two people have in private? He could only say, It's me, Xiaoqun. Can I come in by myself? And come in. Tang's voice suddenly sounded a little surprised. Xiaoqun opened the door and entered the room. He saw Tang lying on the bed reading a book. When she saw Xiaoqun coming in, she put the book aside and smiled. You finally have time to see me? Hey, don't mention it. I've been too busy these days. Xiaoqun smiled bitterly. Are you busy living with Xiao? Tang glanced at Xiaoqun. The relationship between you two siblings is really good. Sweat, don't talk nonsense. We have been together since childhood. There is nothing taboo. How can I live with her? Xiaoqun quickly explained, Tang, don't think too much. I didn't think too much. Now that I think about it, that card was given to me by Xiao, right? She is really good to you. I asked Sister Yu later. He said that he didn't give it to you. Tang Tang said. Why do you call him Sister Yu? Xiao Qin felt awkward listening to this address. He also changed the topic. He didn't want to talk about Xiao Xiao. In fact, he also had a little headache. Although Xiao Xiao had explained that she was just joking, Xiao Qin always felt that something was wrong when he thought about it. He asked for it himself. I thought he was a sissy, so I called him that. Tang Tang shrugged. Right, what are you doing here? What else can I do here? Of course, it's because I miss you. Xiao Qin said and wanted to hug Tang Tang. But Tang Tang gently pushed him away. Xiao Qin, come here. Let's talk. In? Xiao Qin was slightly stunned. He looked at Tang Tang strangely. Talk. Yeah, we haven't talked for a long time. Even if we meet, it's just a quick face-to-face meeting. Tang Tang sighed and said, since you stand in front of everyone, you can't be as idle as before. That's true, but it's inevitable. Xiao Qin nodded. During this time, I'm really sorry for you. You were at home, but there was no chance to see each other. It's nothing. Gradually, I got used to it. Tang Tang's eyes were a little confused. She turned to look at Xiao Qin. She was a little reluctant, but with a trace of determination. Xiao Qin, let's break up. After listening to Tang Tang's words, Xiao Qin was suddenly shocked. He looked at her in amazement. His face was full of disbelief. Tang Tang, what did you say? Break up? What do you mean? You don't like me anymore? It's not that I don't like you. Tang Tang shook her head, and a touch of pain flashed across her face. In fact, I feel that our hearts have gradually drifted apart. I feel that I don't know you at all. And you are completely different from the Xiao Qin that I first fell in love with. Now you almost stand at the top of these aristocratic families, the true martial arts aristocratic family, and I'm just an ordinary woman who sacrificed for the interests of the family. I don't think we have anything in common. Even if we meet now, I don't know what to say. Xiao Qin was a little sad and his heart was full of regret. Tang Tang was right. Since she went back to the Yu family to unite by marriage, the communication between the two became less and less. Even if they met, they would do some ambiguous things and then say goodbye in a hurry. There was no time for a real heart-to-heart talk. At first, when I knew that you were White Fox, I was very happy, very happy. But after that excitement and happiness passed, I still missed the previous days. I liked the life when I struggled with you and sold breakfast together. Tang Tang's words were full of sadness. I'm an ordinary girl and I still like some ordinary life. Your current life is too gorgeous and too cold. I can't accept it. After listening to Tang Tang's words, Xiao Qin's heart could not help but sink. He sighed with some pain. Tang Tang, in fact, I also like the previous ordinary life. But now, some things are beyond my control. I cannot move forward. But I don't think this is a barrier between us. I'm actually still me. If you like it, when I come back, we can continue to go to the morning market to sell fried dough sticks. Forget it. Tang Tang shook her head. If I go there again, I won't have the same mood as before. Now that I have money, I don't care whether I sell more or less, and I won't have the same excitement as before. Tang Tang, do you still want to break up? Xiao Qin asked a little nervously. If you can't tell right from wrong, then so be it. What else can I do? Tang Tang's body fell on Xiao Qin's body. Anyway, I'm now Sister Yu's wife. It doesn't matter whether we break up or not. If you want to occupy me, just do it. Maybe during this time, my own mentality is not good. I'll adjust it. In fact, you don't need to adjust. Do what you want to do. How about I talk to you, Xiao Chuan, and let you go back to school? Xiao Qin suggested. Forget about going to school. You're not here anymore. It's meaningless for me to go back. Tang Tang shook her head. Then why do you still want to break up? You're relying on me to survive now. Before, without me, you were still doing well in school. Xiao Qin smiled. That's true. Then let's not break up. Tang Tang smiled. I found that we still have common topics. Otherwise, how can we talk so much? Xiao Qin hugged Tang Tang. And so I said that maybe I was too lonely during this time. You Xiao Chuan and I talked about some women's topics all day long, such as beautiful clothes and cosmetics. But you know I'm a tomboy. I don't like those things at all. I'm so annoyed by this guy. Tang Tang patted her forehead. I really don't know what he's thinking. Now he's just like a woman. Maybe he's practicing martial arts. Xiao Qin also saw it. But this way I'm more relieved. At least you're not in danger and he won't do anything to you. I'm not in danger, but I'm afraid that you're in danger. Tang Tang said, I feel that you Xiao Chuan seems to like you. Oh, no way? Xiao Qin was shocked. Forget it. Maybe I'm thinking too much. See for yourself. Tang Tang didn't continue this topic. Come on, let's make out. Can't you wait? Chapter 728. I was scared by you. How can I be intimate? Xiaoqin smiled bitterly. You want to break up with me as soon as I come. That doesn't affect our intimacy. You can look for me even if you break up. Anyway, I can only be with you in this life. Tang Tang spread her hands and said, Who asked me to marry you, Xiaochuan? Forget it. I wanted to officially push you down today to live up to my bet with you, Xiaochuan, but now that I think about it, you should consider it thoroughly. Xiaoqin said solemnly, I don't want you to regret it in the future. You're really not coming? Tang Tang was a little surprised. Haven't you been waiting for this day for a long time? I'm still waiting. I'll continue to wait, said Xiaoqin. Then forget it. Tang Tang smiled. However, you're still the same as before. What do you think? Xiaoqin suddenly asked sneakily. Before? Like before? Tang Tang smiled faintly. What do you think? Xiaoqin squinted his eyes. Go take a shower. I knew you didn't have any good intentions. Tang Tang kicked Xiaoqin. Xiaoqin went to take a shower happily. In the early morning of the next day, Xiaoqin quietly left the Xiao family. He didn't say goodbye because he was afraid that Wang Tietio would chase after him. At this moment he was already on the highway to Lan City. Where's that kid Xiaoqin today? Why didn't I see him? Wang Tietio came to the Xiao family's dining room and saw that Xiao, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang were all there, but he didn't see Xiaoqin. Did he go to some class reunion again? I don't know. Xiao said, if you want to find him, ask him yourself. Forget it. I'll see how many class reunions he can attend. I don't believe that he will hide from me forever. Wang Tietio waved his hand and drank the porridge indifferently. Haha, Elder Wang, it's the young people's business. It's better for them to solve it themselves. It's not good for you to rush them like this. Xiao Yuanshan saw that his own grandson was so popular and was very happy. If it was in the past, he would have died of happiness if there was a marriage alliance with the true martial family. But now it was better for Xiaoqin to make his own decisions and he would not interfere. He was not afraid of Wang Tietio's family eating and living here, but it was not the case. Forget it, it's not your granddaughter anymore. If your granddaughter was f***ed by someone, you'd be worried to death. Wang Tietio glared and said angrily, You want to chase me away? No way. This old man will be stationed here. Right, run? Wang Benbin did not dare to speak carelessly. He could only echo from the side, We will follow Lord Father's decision. You see, our whole family has the same opinion, so old man Xiao, you don't have to think about it. Wang Tietio said proudly, I'm not leaving, I'm going to piss you off. Why should I be angry? I'm more than happy that my grandson has a few more wives. Xiao Yuanshan curled his lips. Our Xiao family's marriage is to add people to the family. I'm even happier that you sent Lan Xinxin over. Then you persuade your grandson. Wang Tietio directly climbed up the pole. Okay, I'll persuade. Xiao Yuanshan thought to himself, I really shouldn't have said so much. At this time, Xiaoqin had already arrived at Lan City. He exited the toll station of the highway and drove into the city. He was about to go to the previous community, but when he turned around, Su Chuxia and the others had already moved to a new house, so he said to Xiaoma, Xiaoma, you lead the way. Okay. And Xiaoma responded and flew out. However, in Xiaoqian's car, she did not scare the passers-by. This was a newly built community. Although the location was a little remote, the construction was unusually beautiful. No wonder so many people bought houses here. However, as soon as he entered the community, Xiaoqin could clearly feel that the popularity here was not high. It was not that it was deserted because there were still many cars parked in the parking lot, but he felt that there was a lack of popularity. This situation was very mysterious. Things like popularity could not be seen or touched. Sometimes you could measure and observe, but you couldn't find any problems at all. But many times when you go to a place, even if there was no one there, you would feel that it was full of vitality. But when you go to another place, even if there were people there, you would still feel very cold and lonely. This was the so-called popularity. Xiaoqin was a cultivator, so he was more sensitive. But from the perspective of cultivation, it was a lack of yang qi here, and the yin qi was very heavy. It was not unreasonable to say that this land was originally a graveyard. To gather popularity here again, it was not something that could be done overnight. It had to be accumulated over many years, and more people lived here for the popularity to rise. And such a place with heavy yin qi was not good for Xiaoqian's cultivation, but for some evil cultivators or yin cultivators, it was an excellent place. After parking the car below Su Chuxia and Tian Sauer, Xiaoqin got into the elevator. There was nothing special in the elevator. Xiaoqin deliberately tried to sense it, but he did not feel anything. He stopped at Su Chuxia's floor. Along the way he did not find anything wrong, probably because it was daytime. Xiaoqin knocked on the door and soon Su Chuxia's vigilant voice came from inside. "Who is it?" "It's me, Xiaoqin," Xiaoqin said. "Xiaoqin?" Su Chuxia was stunned. "Oh, Xiaoqiang," Xiaoqin said with a smile. "Gotcha." The door opened and Su Chuxia was surprised. "Xiaoqiang, it's you. Why are you here suddenly?" "Didn't we agree that I would help you catch ghosts after the new year?" Xiaoqin said with a smile. "How is it? Are there any ghosts recently?" "Sai, don't mention it. There's no ghost during the day, but at night, there's still the sound of the elevator. Sauer and I don't dare to go out." Su Chuxia complained. "But you don't say. When Little Demon was here in the past, we didn't have a problem going out at night. It seems that thing is very afraid of Little Demon." "Oh." Xiaoqin frowned. If it was afraid of Little Demon then it shouldn't be some demon or ghost. Could it be that it was really his guess that there were evil cultivators or cultivators causing trouble? However, its strength should not be as powerful as Little Demon so it was afraid of Little Demon. Of course, it could not be ruled out that the thing did not want to have a conflict with Little Demon Sauer, look who's here. Su Chuxia shouted. This guy is really too much. He can't stop playing. What is she playing? Xiaoqin was a little curious. Mobile games. We can't go out these 2 days. Firstly, we are afraid of the strange elevator. Secondly, we are afraid that the Real Yang Jianan will cause trouble for us. So, Sauer and I usually don't go out. She's addicted to mobile games. Su Chuxia complained. She's playing all day. You don't have to worry about Yang Jianan. This time I killed the real one and burned it to ashes. I've become Yang Jianan again. Xiaoqin smiled. You won't find the wrong person this time. Ah? You killed him? Will there be any problems? Su Chuxia was a little surprised. It's fine. It's very tight. You don't have to worry about this. So, my current identity is still the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiaoqin said, let's go and see Sauer. This girl is so good at playing? The two of them walked into the bedroom. Xiaoqin suddenly blushed. He did not expect Tian Suruan to be upside down. Most importantly, he was dressed very skimpily. He only wore a small white underwear on his lower body and a small vest on his upper body, which only covered his chest. And in this position, the 2 lumps of flesh on her chest were about to fall out of the collar of the tank top. She used her head to support her body and leaned against the wall. She was playing with her phone happily in her hand. No wonder she couldn't hear anything. She was wearing earphones. Sauer. Su Chuxia walked over angrily and snatched her phone. Chuxia, what are you doing? Tian Sauer was playing happily. Give it to me quickly. I'm PK with someone. Don't kill me. What are you wearing at home? Are you crazy? Look who's here. Su Chuxia said angrily. Oh, who's here? Tian Sauer looked at Su Chuxia's side in a daze and saw Xiaoqin upside down. Xiaoqiang, you're here? Why are you still standing upside down? Are we doing 69 moves? Sauer. Su Chuxia was even more annoyed. What nonsense are you talking about? Aya, it's Sister Sauer's boyfriend. Chuxia, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. What's the big deal? I'm showing it to him. I'm not showing it to anyone else. Seriously. Tian Suruan returned to normal from her handstand position. Then, she stretched out her hands and stuffed her breasts to the left and right, adjusting them to the most comfortable position. Then she said, Xiaoqiang, you're finally here. That's great. Will you stay with us this time? I'm here to catch ghosts. I can't stay here forever. I still have a mission with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiaoqin said, I killed the Real Yang Jianan. This time, I'm Yang Jianan again. Ah, you're going back again. Tian Sauer rolled her eyes and said to Su Chuxia, Chuxia, why don't you tell your father that there are still people who want to attack and kidnap you? Ask him to apply to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and let Xiaoqiang protect us. What do you think? What nonsense are you thinking? Su Chuxia glared at her. Can your thoughts be more normal? They won't investigate whether there are people with bad intentions or not. You can't just say things like that. Sigh, all right. Tian Sauer was a little depressed. I'm just saying it casually. Chuxia, can you not mock me? I'm not really stupid. I don't think you're smart either. Su Chuxia snorted. Hurry up and put on your clothes. All right, all right. Tian Sauer slowly opened the closet and started looking for clothes. Xiaochen was a little embarrassed. He looked at Tian Sauer swaying and turned around to return to the living room. Su Chuxia followed him out and looked at Xiaochen with some admiration. You're not bad. You're not lecherous. You're different from Yang Jianan. Chapter 729. That's because Sauer and I aren't a real couple. If we were, I wouldn't have avoided it, Xiaochen said. It's not that I'm not lustful, but I have self-control. Who wouldn't want to see it? Su Chuxia was a little surprised. She didn't expect Xiaochen to say that. You're really interesting. It's not interesting. It's the truth. I don't want to lie to you. Xiaochen shrugged. You and Saori are both good girls. Although it was a quest, it was quite satisfying to chase after you. Really? Su Chuxia's eyes lit up. Of course it's true. Xiaochen nodded with certainty. I thought there was something wrong with your taste. You only like Sauer and not me. Su Chuxia was a little happy. What? You're happy that I'm pursuing you? Weren't you very annoying before? Xiaochen was a little confused. I didn't understand you before. There were too many people pursuing me. Who knew what they were thinking? Su Chuxia shook her head and sighed. Actually, I'm a normal girl. I like people who are sincerely pursuing me. Of course, I don't have anyone. Okay, you'll definitely find a boyfriend who likes you and treats you well. Xiaochen wished her well. I hope so. Let's not talk about this. Su Chuxia didn't want to continue this topic. She changed the topic. What do you plan to do? Are you going to continue pretending to be in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? It's such a dangerous job. It's a kind of training. Also, I'm going to repay someone. Xiaochen was talking about Xia Zhili. Staying in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was mostly to help Xia Zhili. Su Chuxia nodded and didn't ask any more questions. At this time, Tian Suruan had already put on his clothes and ran out. Xiaochang, are you treating us to dinner? How long will you stay in Lan City? Su Chuxia asked. I'll see how it goes. I'll solve your problem. Xiaochen didn't know where he would go next, but there would definitely be a lot of things to do in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He would just have to see how things would be arranged. Su Chuxia nodded. By then, Tian Suruan had already put on a new set of clothes. He had even combed his hair into a bun. Are you going for a blind date or a meal? Su Chuxia said angrily as she looked at the gorgeously dressed Tian Suruan. I'm on a date with my boyfriend. Tian Sauer said matter-of-factly, I have to dress up prettier. Aya, you've never been in love before, so you won't understand Sister Sauer's feelings. You're saying that I've never been in love as if you have. Don't forget that the relationship between you and Xiaochang was fake. Su Chuxia glared at her. Aya. Anyway, fake can be real, real can be fake, real can be fake, real can be fake, fake can be real. Tian Soran said seriously, am I being philosophical? I can't be bothered with you. Su Chuxia put on her jacket. Let's go. What are you eating? Xiaochen asked as he walked. Hey Xiaochang, you should be asking Sister Sauer. Why are you asking Chuxia? I'm your girlfriend. Tian Soran said unhappily. It's precisely because you're my girlfriend that when there are outsiders around, we should let the outsiders come first. Xiaochen smiled. That's true. Chuxia, what do you want to eat? Tian Soran turned to look at Su Chuxia. I can't be bothered with you guys. Su Chuxia rolled her eyes at Xiaochen. You're crazy with her too. The three of them went out the door and got into the elevator. Xiaochen deliberately looked around for a long time, but he didn't find anything wrong with the elevator. It should be a normal elevator. He didn't know if those magical and strange phenomena were real or if there was a problem with the elevator circuit. They arrived at the first floor smoothly. Xiaochen looked at the elevator behind him, then shook his head and asked, By the way, what happened to the security guard? I heard that he recovered, but he doesn't dare to come to work anymore. He has already resigned. Now that the news has spread, no one dares to work here. The property management can't do anything about it. They said that they are hiring. Su Chuxia was also a little helpless. After all, this couldn't be helped. Xiaochen nodded. He felt a little strange in his heart. This ghost didn't seem to be a bad ghost. He didn't know what the ghost's purpose was. If it really wanted to harm people, the security guard wouldn't have just been scared. Did anything strange happen after that? Xiaochen asked. No, but many of the residents in this building moved out. They didn't dare to live here anymore. Many people went to check out, but the developer didn't agree. After all, from a legal point of view, you can't prove that this place is haunted. After all, it's a first-hand house. It's difficult to determine that it's a haunted house. Su Chuxia shrugged. I'm really unlucky to buy such a house. It's okay. Even if it's a haunted house, it can't be fierce with me around. I'm even fiercer than him. Xiaoqin really wasn't bragging. He could even subdue a demon like in Little Demon. Why would he be afraid of ghosts? Anyway, there have been a lot of people who want to sell their houses recently. They've all contacted an agent. It's just that the news here has spread, so no one wants to buy it at all. Even the agent doesn't want to cause trouble because of this. Even if there are people who don't understand and want to look at the house, they will tell in advance about the strange phenomenon here, Su Chuxia explained. Oh, if you have money, you can buy back all the houses that are about to be sold at a low price. Then you can make a lot of money. Xiaoqin said. Forget it. What if I can't sell it? Besides, I don't have that much money. Su Chuxia shook her head. There's money to be made. Can Sister Sour Sour buy it? Tian Sour Sour was interested. Sister Sour Sour doesn't have a source of income. She's very poor. It would be great if she could make a fortune. Sure. I'll give you the gold. You can sell it. It should be enough to exchange for money, Xiaoqin said. Okay. I'll buy it later. Tian Sour Sour seemed to trust Xiaoqin very much. She was ready to take action. Don't cry when the time comes. Su Chuxia warned. No, Xiaoqian can't trick me. Tian Sour Sour didn't care at all. Up to you then. Su Chuxia felt that with Xiaoqian's support, it would be difficult to stop Tian Sour even if she said anything, so she might as well not say it. You guys are out? As they spoke, they saw a woman in her 40s who greeted Su Chuxia. Annie Wang, did you just come back? Su Chuxia greeted her. What do you mean by going out? I came back to get some things. I've already moved out and there are still some things that I haven't taken. If I didn't drive back to get them, I'd like to sell the house at a low price. I really can't live here anymore. It's too scary. Auntie Wang shook her head and said, Oh right, Xiao Su, do you still dare to live here? We don't have a place to live, and this place might not be haunted. Maybe it'll be better after a while. Su Chuxia could only hint. Auntie Wang was usually quite friendly to her. Forget it. I can't wait any longer. Let's sell it as soon as possible. I don't need the money. I came here to live in peace, but now it seems even scarier. Auntie Wang shook her head and said decisively. Auntie Wang, how much do you want to sell it for? Tian Sour Sour asked. Why, you want to buy it? Auntie Wang was stunned and looked at Tian Sour Sour suspiciously. Yes, I want to buy it myself. Tian Sour Sour nodded. Don't you live with Xiao Su? You still dare to buy it? Auntie Wang was a little surprised. You girls are really bold enough. It's fine if Xiao Su doesn't move away, but you still want to buy it. Auntie Wang can't cheat you. Don't buy it here. I just want to be neighbors with Chuxia. Tian Sour Sour said. Besides, maybe it won't be haunted in a few days. That's up to you. When I bought this house, I spent 800,000 yuan. Now I'm selling it for 500,000 yuan. If you want to buy it, you don't need to pay the intermediary fee. Let's deal directly. Auntie Wang said, I'm also giving you a base price. Take the money and I'll leave. Oh, okay, then I'll go out to eat dinner. I'll buy it when I come back. Auntie Wang, you wait for me here. Tian Sour Sour said. Alright, then I'll eat something nearby after I get my things. Auntie Wang nodded. To be honest, she was really a little surprised that the house could be sold. In her opinion, even if it was cheaper by 300,000 yuan, it might not be sold well if it was listed in the intermediary. After all, in this building she wasn't the only one selling houses. No one had heard of anyone selling. How could it be her turn? You guys wait for me. I'll go back to get the gold. Tian Sour Sour said as he ran into the unit door with Auntie Wang. Su Chuxia shook her head. You're just bewitching her with some inexplicable things. What if you lose? You still don't believe me? Xiaoqin smiled and said, if I say I can solve it, then I can naturally solve it. Well, you and Sour Sour are really alike. I even thought you two were really a couple. Su Chuxia sighed. Isn't this a good opportunity to make a fortune? I see that you and Sour Sour's life isn't very rich. She still needs to rely on you to survive. It's just a convenient opportunity. Why not? Xiaoqin said. That's true. Sour is really quite pitiful. She left home and has been alone. In fact, even though she is careless, I also know that she doesn't want to spend my money. She definitely won't feel comfortable relying on me every month. Su Chuxia nodded. Hey, your name is Sour Sour, right? Why did you come in? Auntie Wang pressed the elevator button and saw Tian Sour next to her. She asked with some surprise. And I also went upstairs to get something. Tian Sauer said, Auntie Wang, are you really selling the house? What if it's not haunted after a few days? Isn't it a loss? I'm afraid that I'll cheat you. Auntie Wang shook her head and said, to be honest, if it's not really haunted, why would I sell it? But you want to buy it. After all, we are neighbors. I feel bad about it. It's okay. I'm buying it for the future appreciation. Tian Sauer said, and I'm willing to buy it. Auntie Wang, you don't have to worry. Chapter 730. Okay, then I'll wait for you. Auntie Wang saw the light of the elevator and suddenly froze. She had pressed the button just now. Why didn't the elevator come yet? Why was it so slow? The two of them paid attention and then understood what was going on. They saw that the elevator actually stopped on every floor, from the 23rd floor to the 22nd floor, 21st, 20th. It stopped on every floor. What's going on? Auntie Wang was shocked. There shouldn't be many households here. Why are there so many people calling for the elevator? That's not right. There's no one else on my floor. Why did it stop? Tian Suruan also noticed the problem and suddenly felt a chill down her spine. Could it be haunted again? Auntie Wang was also in a cold sweat. I came back to pick up my things during the day. Why am I so unlucky? Is someone playing a prank in the elevator? Although Tian Suruan said so, it was obvious that she was very nervous. It's daytime. Who would be so bored? Besides, it's haunted. Who dares to play in the elevator? Auntie Wang was a little trembling. Suruan, there's really something wrong with this house. I advise you not to buy it. I'll buy it. Tian Suruan was also very scared, but when she thought of how certain Xiao Chen was, she was relieved. After a while, the elevator finally came down. However, after the elevator door opened, the two of them were shocked to find that there was no one in the elevator. There was no one at all. This made the two of them dumbfounded. Are we still going up? Auntie Wang was a little timid. Let's go. We're all here. Tian Suruan was quite courageous. Then let's go. Auntie Wang braced herself and said. The two of them entered the elevator and pressed the floor. The elevator slowly went up. However, when they reached the second floor, the elevator suddenly stopped, which made the two of them shocked. Suruan, did you press the wrong floor? Auntie Wang asked nervously. Because it was Suruan who pressed the floor before, she thought that Suruan pressed the wrong floor. No. Tian Suruan shook her head. Then this is... Before Auntie Wang finished her words, the door of the elevator opened quietly, but there was no one outside the elevator. She could even see the property arrears reminder on the door of the house opposite the elevator, which meant that there was no one in this house. A gust of cold wind blew in, causing the two of them to shiver. Even the bold Tian Sauerso could not help but change his expression. The elevator door opened for a while before it closed automatically. However, at the moment when it closed, there seemed to be faint footsteps. Click, click, what's that sound? Auntie Wang exclaimed subconsciously, and her heart almost jumped out. I don't think it's anything. It's just the mechanical sound of the elevator closing. Tian Sauer comforted him. In fact, he was also trying to justify himself and comfort himself. Oh, maybe. Auntie Wang breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that the sound might be the mechanical sound of the elevator closing. After a while, the elevator slowly rose. However, just as they breathed a sigh of relief, the elevator stopped on the third floor. The elevator door opened slowly. Although they were prepared, when they saw that there was still no one outside, their faces were still pale. Is there something wrong with the elevator again? Tian Sauerso couldn't help but say to himself. Maybe it's broken? Auntie Wang could only explain in this way to be at ease. The elevator door closed slowly again. There seemed to be footsteps outside, which seemed to be coming from the stairwell. It seemed that someone was going upstairs. The two of them were stunned. The elevator door had closed and the elevator rose again. This time the two of them heard it clearly. It should be the footsteps of someone walking, and it seemed to be a woman's voice in high heels. Sauerso, let's go downstairs. Too scary. I don't want my things anymore. Auntie Wang was trembling. Maybe someone is playing a prank. She ran to the second or third floor to call the elevator, but she didn't come up. I guess she is waiting for us on the fourth floor and then she will go to the fifth floor. Tian Sauerso comforted her. Maybe. After listening to Tian Sauerso's explanation, Auntie Wang also felt that it was reasonable. If that was the case, it could be explained. However, both of them actually understood in their hearts. How could a normal person run so fast? Go to the next floor and call the elevator in advance? What kind of speed is this? It's simply like a ghost. And the footsteps weren't fast, so However, both of them didn't want to think about it, and they didn't want to think about it. What they wanted was to go to the floor as soon as possible, take the things and come back quickly. On the fourth floor, the elevator door opened as expected. There was still no one. When the door closed, they heard the footsteps. Gradually, the two of them were a little numb to the next few floors. It was the same on every floor, but no other strange things happened. Finally, they arrived at Auntie Wang's floor. She wanted to get off the elevator first, but she didn't dare to. Standing in the elevator, she lifted her legs several times, but she didn't dare to step out. The elevator door soon exceeded the time limit, and it slowly closed. Auntie Wang might have deliberately delayed until the elevator door closed, but she didn't go out. Instead, she felt relieved. She really didn't want to get the things. It was just a few clothes. She was rich, so she didn't need it. If she lost her life, it would be sad. However, after the elevator door closed, the elevator didn't go up immediately. The strangest thing was that she didn't hear the footsteps at the same time. Auntie Wang wanted to ask Tian Suruan if she heard it, but the elevator door slowly opened again. It was as if the elevator knew that Auntie Wang wanted to get off but didn't have time. The elevator door opened again for her. Ah. Auntie Wang was shocked. Suruan, did you press it? No. Tian Suruan shook her head. She had been standing far away from the elevator door. Even if she pressed it, it was too late. Auntie Wang looked at Tian Suruan's position and knew that it wasn't her. She was even more shocked. Although the elevator door opened again, she didn't dare to go out again. Click, click. As the elevator door closed again, a gust of cold wind swept past, and the footsteps sounded again. It seemed that this person was waiting for Auntie Wang to go out. Seeing that Auntie Wang didn't go out twice, he had no choice but to leave. Is he waiting for me? Auntie Wang was shocked. Luckily, I didn't go out. If I went out, wouldn't I die? Tian Suruan was also scared out of her wits. She kept saying in her heart, Xiao Chong, you can't lie to me. It's really okay, right? Yes, it's definitely okay. The next stop of the elevator was Su Chuxia's home. When the elevator doors opened, Tian Souring rushed out without a second thought. She wanted to see if there was anything strange outside. Hey, Suruan, you went out? Auntie Wang was stunned. She didn't dare to stay in the elevator alone, so she hurriedly followed. However, there was no one outside and there was nothing else. Other than the eerie corridor, she couldn't see anything else. As for the stairwell, Tian Suruan didn't dare to go there. Instead, she quickly opened the door. She and Auntie Wang entered the door. Just as the door was closed, Tian Suruan seemed to hear click, click, footsteps coming from outside the door again. Oh my God, I was scared to death. I'm never coming back. As soon as Auntie Wang entered the door, she sat on the chair at the door and panted. Suruan, what are you taking? Hurry up, let's go. It's too scary here. Okay. Tian Suruan went to get the gold. It was a small bag and from the outside they couldn't tell what it was. When the two of them went out, they were surprised to find that the elevator went up and didn't stop at this floor. Logically speaking, it was only a short while, so the elevator shouldn't have moved. What surprised the two of them was that the elevator was still moving like before. It stopped at every floor along the way and finally stopped at the top floor. Tian Suruan pressed the button to call the elevator. Unexpectedly, this time the elevator went down smoothly, and it didn't stop in the middle. The elevator door slowly opened, and Auntie Wang subconsciously took 2 steps back, afraid that there was something in the elevator, but there was nothing. The two of them walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the first floor. Just as the elevator door was about to close, the footsteps sounded again. Kata kata. This time it was different from before. Previously, it went from loud to soft, but this time it seemed to be from far to near. It seemed like someone was walking towards the elevator. However, the elevator door was already closed, and they couldn't see what was happening outside. The elevator began to go down. Is there someone outside? Auntie Wang was already nervous. I don't know. Tian Suruan shook his head. This time, to their delight, the elevator went down smoothly to the first floor. The door opened and the two of them quickly rushed out. When they got out of the unit, they saw Su Chuxia and Xiao Chen, who were a little anxious. Suruan, why are you so slow? Su Chuxia asked. Don't mention it. The elevator is broken again. It has to stop at every floor and then there are strange footsteps. Tian Suruan complained. Even during the day? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Didn't they say that there were no such things during the day? I don't know. Auntie Wang was there just now. Anyway, it's scary enough, Tian Suruan said. Yeah, I'm not going to get anything. Suruan, do you still want to buy this apartment? Don't force yourself. Auntie Wang isn't unreasonable. Too scary. Oh my God, what the hell is this place? Auntie Wang seemed to have survived a disaster. She looked at the sunshine outside very pleasantly. Bye. Tian Suruan nodded. You child, how about this? Auntie Wang can make it cheaper. I'll give you 400,000 yuan. After you buy it, don't scold Auntie Wang behind her back. Auntie Wang was really scared. Thank you, Auntie Wang. Looking at the car that Auntie Wang drove, it was a white Maserati CO. She probably didn't lack money, so Tian Suruan didn't argue anymore. Auntie Wang is going to drink some hot tea to calm down. If you want to buy it, call Auntie Wang. Auntie Wang will wait for you until the afternoon. Anyway, I won't go upstairs. I've already given you the things upstairs. If you don't want them, just throw them away. Auntie Wang would never take the elevator again. Chapter 731. It's okay. I'll clean it up and bring it down for you, Tian Wangchuan said. Thank you. Auntie Wang sighed and got in the car. On the other side, Tian Wangchuan and Su Chuxia also got in Xiao Chen's car. The two cars left the neighborhood one after the other. Since it can appear in the day, it shouldn't be the legendary ghost. It's impossible for ghosts to appear in the day. Xiao Chen muttered after getting in the car. If I'm not mistaken, it should be a human. Tian Wangchuan was stunned. From your description of the situation, it should be a person walking very fast, hiding outside, pressing the elevator, pressing every floor. That clicking sound is just to confuse you. In reality, this person's movement speed is very fast. He should be a cultivator. Xiao Chen analyzed. Only cultivators have this ability. So, someone is deliberately pretending to be a ghost? Su Chuxia frowned. What's his purpose? It's hard to say for now. We can only wait and see. I plan to observe at night for a few days. I'll move a chair and sit in front of the elevator on your floor. I'll see what it is. If someone presses the elevator button, I'll be able to grab it immediately, Xiao Chen said. Thank you. Su Chuxia let out a sigh of relief. With Xiao Chen guarding the door, she could sleep soundly at night. The three of them found a big iron pot stew restaurant. Tian Wangchuan ate happily. After eating, he found a gold shop and sold the gold for money. Then he went to find Auntie Wang to transfer the ownership. Because it was a new house, they didn't have a title certificate yet. They just needed to change the name with the developer. Normally, it wasn't easy to find a developer to change the name. However, the developer was afraid that the owners would cause trouble and want to return the house. As long as they didn't want to return the house, they could change the name however they wanted. They even didn't want the name change fee. Auntie Wang took the money and left in a hurry. She left her phone number so that Tian Wangchuan could get it if he wanted to pack up. In the afternoon, Tian Wangchuan bought a lot of houses from the agent. Their prices were basically the same as Auntie Wang's or even lower. Some houses that were worth 1 million were sold for only 400,000. Tian Suruan was holding a huge pile of triplicate forms. Because he had bought a lot, he had also agreed with the developer that these were only temporarily registered under Tian Suruan's name. When it was time to sell the house, the developer would help to change the name again. Seeing that Tian Suruan had helped them solve the problem of returning the house, the developer was naturally happy to agree. By the time they were done, it was already past 6 o'clock in the evening. Xiao Chen didn't have to find a place to stay because he had to keep watch at night. However, when the three of them returned to the neighborhood, they saw a group of people standing at the entrance of their building. They didn't know what they were doing. Did something happen again? Tian Suruan asked subconsciously. I don't know. Let's go take a look. Su Chuxia quickened her pace. When he walked over, he saw some property management staff and some familiar faces. They were the owners of this building. He wondered why everyone was standing there. What happened? Su Chuxia asked a neighbor she was familiar with. The property management company invited a celestial lady from another place to exorcise the ghost of this building. The person who spoke was Auntie's son who lived on the first floor. Although she lived on the first floor, she was extremely afraid of the haunting in this building, so she was very excited at this time. I hope it's effective. Celestial lady? Su Chuxia was stunned. Really? Back then, they invited Taoist Lu Li and Taoist Tai Shan from Tianqing Temple, but they couldn't find the cause. Was this celestial lady really that powerful? I don't know either. We'll find out later. Auntie's son looked very excited. Everyone, don't worry. This celestial lady is a celestial lady that our property management company invited from the ancient sect 5 Elements sect. She is very powerful and will definitely be able to subdue the ghost. The manager of the property management company said loudly. Hearing this, the tenants all agreed. If they could really subdue this monster that came out of nowhere, then they could live here with peace of mind. However, most people were happy, but there were also people who were unhappy. This was the man who had just sold the house to Tian Suruan in the afternoon. This man was called Wu Lixing, and he usually did real estate speculation. When he first bought this house, it was quite cheap. It was a house in the hands of a boss. The price was very low, almost 100,000 yuan cheaper than the normal house price. He originally wanted to keep it in his hands and sell it later when the price increased. Of course, he could directly sell it, but he felt that it was not worth it to sell it at a low price. So he dragged it out. In the end, such a haunting thing happened. This way, the house couldn't be sold for a while. It was not good to keep the money in his hands. He had no choice but to put it up with an agent at a low price. He didn't expect it to really be sold. He was just about to come back to clean up when he suddenly heard that the property management company had invited a celestial lady to exorcise the ghost. He immediately regretted it. If the ghost was caught, then the house would be fine. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? Thinking of this, he wanted to ask Tian Suruan for the house back. Coincidentally, he saw Tian Suruan coming back, so he went up to him. Tian Suruan, right? Do you still remember me? Wu Lixue went up to greet him. Because Tian Suruan had bought more houses, he was afraid that Tian Suruan would forget about him. Ah, it's you. What's the matter? By the way, when are you going to give me the key? Didn't you say that you still have some things to take away? Tian Suruan asked. Previously, Wu Lixue said that he wouldn't give the key to Tian Suruan and would give it to him later. Now that they met, he asked, Miss Tian, I don't want to sell it anymore. Can you make an exception? I won't have a place to live if I sell the house. Can you give it back to me? Or I can give you an extra 10 or 20,000 yuan. Wu Lixue said with a shy face. Ah. Tian Suruan was slightly stunned. Then she immediately understood what was going on. This Wu Lixue must have seen that the property management company had hired someone to exorcise the ghost and felt that there would be no problem with the house in the future. That was why he came to her to regret his decision. However, Tian Suruan had already bought a lot of houses in her hands. She didn't lack this one. Looking at this person's bitter face, Tian Suruan had some sympathy. She wasn't an unreasonable person, so she looked at Su Chuxia and wanted her to make a decision. Suruan, since they need it, just return it to them. Su Chuxia was also a good girl. She didn't want to take advantage of others. Although this matter was one that they were willing to take, in the end, Tian Suruan was a bit opportunistic. If it was Xiao Qin who had caught the ghost, it would be fine. But now, it was someone hired by the property management company. It wasn't a big deal for them to return the house. This was understandable. Okay, then I'll return it to you, but I can't do the procedures today. Let's wait for next Monday. The day after tomorrow is the weekend. Tian Suruan said, the developer doesn't work. Sure. As long as you can return it to me. Wu Lixue was just trying his luck. After all, people in his line of work were all speculators. If he bought a cheap house, he definitely wouldn't return it to others. Therefore, since Tian Suruan could return it, it didn't matter how she did it. He just had to wait. Let's go home first. Xiao Qin looked at the person at the door and shook his head. As for whether the lady could catch the ghost or not, it didn't have much to do with him. Even if she couldn't, he had already planned to do it himself. However, when the three of them walked to the door of the unit, they were stopped by the property management staff. Now the lady is catching the ghost. Everyone, don't disturb her. Get out of the way. I want to go home. Xiao Qin said faintly. What's wrong with you? You asked the property management company to catch the ghost. Now that we've found someone, you're not going to cooperate? The staff was a little annoyed. I asked you to wait, so just wait. If you affect the lady catching the ghost, you're the sinner of the entire community. Affect me? Aren't you being too arrogant with your words? Xiao Qin frowned. He was a little unhappy, but when he saw the other property owners looking at him with unkind expressions, he was too lazy to argue with them. Then let's wait. Let's see if the so-called lady can catch the ghost. Hey, why are you like this? Making sarcastic remarks here? We all want the lady to catch the ghost. Why are you so nosy? Said a neighbor of the nearby property owner. However, just as this person finished speaking, the unit's door opened. A woman with disheveled hair rushed out from inside. Then, with a putong sound, she fell to the ground. Her face was pale and she was panting heavily. A ghost. At this moment, the sky was already a little dark. So, when the woman rushed out, it immediately shocked everyone. Those who were timid exclaimed, Lady Fairy? How are you? The staff nearby could tell at a glance that the woman in front of them was the lady they invited. They were shocked and asked quickly, At this time, everyone finally saw that the woman with disheveled hair was Celestial Nun. They immediately let out a sigh of relief and surrounded her, asking, "Celestial Nun, did you subdue the ghost? That female ghost is very powerful." "I haven't subdued her yet. I need to make some preparations." After taking a breath, the lady said in surprise, "I need to buy some things and make some talismans. Everyone can go back first. I'll come back at night." Xiaoqun curled his lips and snorted coldly. He glanced at the staff and said, "This is the lady you invited? She's only a so-so. Get out of the way." The staff was speechless. It was true that the lady couldn't do anything to the female ghost. He could only say, "Don't be anxious. Didn't the lady say that she would go prepare? Then she will come back at night to catch the ghost." "Hey, what do you mean? I came here with good intentions to help you catch the ghost. Why don't you know how to be grateful?" The lady was a little unhappy. She was very uncomfortable with Xiaoqun's sarcasm. "I didn't say that I can't subdue this female ghost. I just need to be fully prepared." Chapter 732. And? Xiaoqun didn't feel anything before. After all, this fairy's voice was a little flustered before, but now that it had returned to normal, it sounded a little familiar. He couldn't help but look down and was stunned. "It's you? It's you?" Li Xianer also looked at Xiaoqun in surprise. You aren't." "Hee, Li Xianer, I didn't expect you to be a fairy? So powerful." Xiaoqun found this very funny. This Li Xianer was actually Xiao Zhao's classmate, the girl who was harassed by the Ox family martial arts dojo at the Immortal Resort. At that time Xiaoqun even helped her. He didn't expect her to be a fairy? He didn't know if this Li Xianer's name was real or fake. Anyway, it was a very ordinary name. At least, Xiaoqun had heard of many people with the same name. He didn't think much about it at that time, but now it seemed that there was really an expert among the people. Was she an immortal cultivator hidden among the students? Li Xianer was a little embarrassed. She didn't know how to explain. "Xiaochang, thank you for what happened before, but things are very complicated now. I can't tell you. You won't understand even if I tell you. You're just an ordinary martial artist. Maybe you have some power, but you can't solve these things." "Oh, then you mean that you can?" Xiaoqun looked at Li Xianer. "And I have a certain degree of confidence." Li Xianer nodded. "I didn't lie to you. I'm really a fairy. Being a student is just my superficial identity. My secret identity is to help people catch ghosts and solve haunted houses." "Oh, okay, then I'll believe you. If you encounter any difficulties at night, you can ask me for help. I can help you beat up ghosts." Xiaoqun smiled. Since she was an acquaintance, there was no need to mock her anymore. "And thank you, but there's really no need. This isn't something you can deal with. The other party is a real ghost." Li Xianer declined politely. Xiaoqun didn't say anything else. He suddenly thought of something. "Right, I heard that you are the successor of an ancient sect? Are there still ancient sects now?" "I'm the only one left." Li Xianer nodded and said, "You can say that. However, 1,000 years have passed and these ancient sects have all disappeared. Some of the cultivation manuals have also disappeared. I only know a little about it and have some research on some Qimendunjia techniques." Xiaoqun was a little disappointed. It was said that the cultivation methods of the ancient sects were different from the current ones. It seemed like they no longer existed. Even Li Xianer didn't know about them. After nodding and bidding her farewell, Xiaoqun brought Su Chuxia and Tian Soren upstairs. Meanwhile, Li Xianer quickly got into an MPV from a property management company to go shopping. When everyone saw that Xiaoqun and Li Xianer were very familiar with each other, they naturally didn't say anything more. It was their business to mock each other and it had nothing to do with them. It was fine as long as they could catch the ghost. They went all the way back to Su Chuxia's house. Perhaps because there were more people in the elevator didn't make a fuss this time. "Xiaochang, do you know that fairy?" Tian Soren asked curiously. "You guys seem to be very familiar with each other. Could it be that you met the female protagonist in one of your missions?" "No, she's my sister's classmate." Xiaoqun said, "Last time she was bullied, I helped her out. However, I didn't expect her to be good at these things." "Can she catch ghosts?" Tian Soren asked. "It's hard to say. Let's see." Xiaoqun felt that this person shouldn't be a ghost, but a Yin cultivator or an evil cultivator. However, he couldn't figure out the purpose of this person. She didn't harm anyone here. Could it be that she was just scaring people for fun? Songning City Xiao family. Wang Chechio finally realized that something was wrong. He didn't see Xiao Chen for a day and no one mentioned him. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. Xiao Xiao and Tang Tang were also there, but he didn't see where Xiao Chen went. When he asked Wang Fantian, he didn't know either. If it was in the past when Xiao Chen was at home, Wang Fantian would always say a few words, but now he didn't even see him. I say, old man Xiao, where's your grandson? Wang Chechiu finally couldn't help but ask during dinner, isn't he coming to eat? I don't know. He doesn't tell us when he comes and goes. He does whatever he wants to do. Are you asking the wrong person? Xiao Yuanshan was stunned and said, what do you mean? You didn't see him either? Wang Chechiu suddenly felt that something was wrong. He frowned and said, so, he's not at home? I'm not sure. Anyway, we didn't see him. Xiao Yuanshan ate and didn't seem to care at all. You guys. Wang Chechiu was instantly enraged. Run. Exploding heavens. Go and look for Xiao Chen. Find out where he went. Oh? Wang Benben was eating. Halfway through his meal, he stood up and walked out obediently. Wang Fantian, on the other hand, held his bowl and ate as he walked. Wang Chechiu saw this and couldn't help but scold. Benben, can't you learn from your son? Look at him, he's looking for someone to eat and you're not eating. Wang Benben wanted to cry but had no tears. This was so impolite. But thinking about it, his father was such a reckless person and so was his son. No wonder Wang Chechiu liked Wang Fantian. Wang Benben had no choice but to hold his bowl and eat as he walked. The two of them split up to look for Xiao Chen. They went around the Xiao family a few times but didn't see Xiao Chen. They could only go back to the dining room again. Father, I didn't see Xiao Chen. He shouldn't be at home. Wang Benben said. Grandpa, the boss is gone. He must be hiding from us. I think we should go back. It's not like we can do anything here. Although Wang Fantian also wanted Xiao Chen to be his brother-in-law, if Xiao Chen wasn't willing they couldn't force it, right? They could only do it step by step. Go back? No, I don't believe that Xiao Chen won't go home. Let's wait here. I want to see if he can hide from us for a long time. Wang Chechiu slammed the table. Suddenly the soup splashed on his face. Damn it! Wang Chechiu wiped his face, stood up and left the dining room angrily. Wang Benben quickly followed. But Wang Fantian didn't seem to notice. He was eating with big mouthfuls of food. Then he took a look and said, I'll eat some more. Xiao Yuanshan looked at Wang Fantian and couldn't help but shake his head. He was really heartless. I don't know how that girl is. Xiao Yuanshan suddenly thought, is that Lan Xinxin also heartless? That's why no one wanted her, so she relied on Xiao Chen? Now that he thought about it, it was very possible. Xiao Yuanshan couldn't help but fall into deep thought. If such a girl came home carelessly, he didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. Everyone eat. Don't worry about him. He can stay as long as he wants. Anyway, our Xiao family is rich and willful. Xiao Yuanshan waved his hand, signaling everyone to continue eating. Of course, Xiao Yuanshan was a little curious about Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang staying here. He vaguely knew some of the relationship between Xiao Chen and Tang Tang, but Tang Tang and Yu Xiaochuan were husband and wife. Yu Xiaochuan, who was neither a man nor a woman, seemed to be quite strange. He didn't object to Tang Tang and Xiao Chen being together, and he even called himself Xiao Chen's little brother. The key was that he was very strong. The powerful Kushan sect disciple was killed by him. So, since he was willing to stay here, then it was a good thing. It could also be considered as improving the strength of the Xiao family. As for Tang Tang, he would treat her as his granddaughter-in-law. After dinner, Tang Tang said goodnight to Xiao Yuanshan and returned to her residence with Yu Xiaochuan. Sister Tang Tang, when do you think Brother Xiao will come back? Yu Xiaochuan asked after entering the house. How would I know? Tang Tang said snappily, can't you contact him yourself? Ask him yourself. I'm afraid that if I ask too much, Brother Xiao will hate me. Yu Xiaochuan was a little shy. I can't be bothered with you. Tang Tang glanced at Yu Xiaochuan and returned to her room. Yu Xiaochuan hummed a little song and began to change in front of the mirror. He felt that he had the potential to be a trap. He would look very beautiful if he dressed up. Back in the room, Tang Tang lay on the bed with a sad heart. Her eyes were a little empty. She looked at the ceiling and sighed slightly. Tang Tang, have you thought it through? A voice suddenly sounded, but there was no one in the room. Tang Tang did not look in the direction of the voice. She was still lying on the bed as if she was not interested. At this time in Tang Tang's room, a shadow appeared, gradually solidified and turned into a woman in black. The woman in black was covered with a black veil, and her face could not be seen clearly. But judging from her curvy body, she should be a beauty, but it was hard to say. You're here? Tang Tang said. Yes, Tang Tang, have you thought it through? If you don't agree, then your mother will really be in danger. The woman in black said faintly, only if you replace her can she be safe, and your parents can leave safely. What evidence do you have to prove that what you said is true? Tang Tang did not look at her but said, the last time you came you said that my parents did not actually die, but were taken to Wulin, but why should I believe you? Just based on a photo? Now the technology of Photoshop is so advanced you can make it at will. I knew you wouldn't believe it easily. The woman giggled and said, this time I've brought the blood of your parents, 1 bottle for each of you. If you don't believe me, you can take it to the hospital for a DNA test to see if it's your parents. Tang Tang was shocked. This time she finally became energetic, not as absent-minded as before. She sat up directly from the bed. Chapter 733. In the past few days, Tang Tang was a little absent-minded. A woman who claimed to be from the poison sect of the martial arts world told her that her parents didn't die but were taken away by the poison sect. Her mother was born with a poisonous body and became a drug testing tool of the poison sect. The current situation was that one kind of poison was suppressing another kind of poison. Her body was full of poison. If this continued, she would die. At that time, Tang Tang was very shocked. This was very similar to her previous situation. Could it be that her body was similar to her mother's? However, she didn't really believe the woman's words. She just asked a few questions and the woman answered them one by one. She even showed Tang Tang the photos of her parents. I don't need to lie to you. You are born with a poisonous body. With a body like yours, you are born for poison. If I don't take you away, you won't live long. On the contrary, if you go with me, you will live a little longer, the woman said faintly. Impossible. The poison in my body has already been expelled. How can it still be? Tang Tang immediately retorted. What you expelled is just some poison on the surface. In fact, your whole body is a poisonous body. You need all kinds of poison to survive. Otherwise, you will die very miserably. The woman smiled. Previously, I don't know what kind of expert you found, but he helped you detoxify once and extended your lifespan. However, this is only a temporary solution, not a permanent solution. Your physique is still there. Aren't you just threatening and tempting me to go with you? Tang Tang actually believed some of the woman's words. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been in such a bad mood these days. She wouldn't have taken the initiative to propose a breakup with Xiao Chen. Although Xiao Chen's current strength was high, he couldn't compete with the poison sect behind the woman. After all, listening to the woman's words, the poison sect didn't belong to the outer martial arts world. Instead, it was a real inner martial arts sect. If she told Xiao Chen about this strength and caused some trouble, it would be equivalent to harming Xiao Chen. Therefore, Tang Tang didn't say it. She just found some inexplicable reasons to break up with Xiao Chen. However, after hearing what Xiao Chen said, her heart softened. In fact, she didn't want to break up with him. She thought that even if she left, she would leave quietly. When the time came, she could just pretend that she disappeared. You can understand it that way. The woman nodded non-committally after hearing Tang Tang's words. So, what's your decision? Leave it here. I'll go to the lab tomorrow and give you a reply. Tang Tang said weakly, if I go, can't I come back? Will he die there? Yes, if you can find the lost secret manual in the sect, not only will you not die, you will also become the strongest person in the sect. At that time, you will surpass everyone in the poison sect and become a poison master of a generation, shocking the martial world. The woman said, you are no longer a tool that can only be used by the sect to test medicine. I've become a hired thug for the sect, haven't I? Tang Tang was a little dispirited. At that time, you won't be someone else's fighter, you'll be the master of the sect. Even in the martial world, you'll be the master. Your name, Tang Tang, will shock the entire martial world and make people tremble with fear. The woman tempted. In fact, it's all built on the premise that the secret manual is found, right? Tang Tang said with a sarcastic smile, if I found it, my mother would have become a poison master and wouldn't have been tortured to death by you. And I put it nicely, saying that I have the possibility of becoming a poison master, but in fact I'm just going to test poison, right? You can understand it that way. The woman didn't deny it. Anyway, you can think about it yourself. Our sect is still very open-minded. It's all voluntary. If you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, don't go. Anyway, you'll die here. Why not go back with me? You can live a little longer and save your mother. Tieske, you make it sound nice. Then wasn't my mother forcibly taken away by you? Tang Tang said disdainfully. Not really. Your father took your mother to seek medical treatment, and they took the initiative to stay, the woman said with a smile. Oh. Tang Tang was stunned. She didn't know why, but she suddenly felt that the woman was quite reasonable and straightforward. She didn't have any intention of forcing her. When she was young, Tang Tang did hear that her biological parents never came back after they left. It was as if they had died. She was adopted by her uncle's family, so her life in the Tang family became like this. When she was beautiful, she was used for a marriage alliance. When she became ugly, she was chased out of the family and no one stood up for her. So, it's fine if I don't go? Tang Tang asked. Yes, but you have to keep what I'm telling you a secret. The woman warned faintly, the martial world is very wary of our poison sect. They're afraid that we'll make a comeback and restore the glory of 100 years ago. At that time, our poison sect was in the limelight. No one could match us. We were the true #1 sect in the world. So, even if you don't come, you have to keep it a secret. I know that. You told me about this last time, but I didn't tell anyone. Tang Tang nodded. I'll think about it. Alright, then I'll be leaving. Leave the blood here too. You can judge for yourself if it's real or not. After the woman said that, she turned into a shadow and disappeared from the room. Tang Tang sighed and looked at the 2 small bottles on the table. She was in a daze. That night, Su Chuxia and Tian Saoring were asleep. Xiaoqun moved a small stool and sat at the door of the room. He faced the elevator and wanted to see what was wrong with it. However, Xiaoqun looked at the elevator. It seemed to be working. When no one was riding it, it wouldn't move at all. It was parked on the original floor. Just as Xiaoqun was bored to death, someone called for the elevator again. The elevator returned to the first floor and after a while, it began to rise slowly. However, this time Xiaoqun was shocked because every time the elevator reached a floor, it would stop. Xiaoqun observed for a moment. The second floor, the third floor, the fourth floor. It kept stopping until it reached Xiaoqun's floor. The elevator door opened, but Xiaoqun was stunned. He was shocked. This was because the person in the elevator let out a scream. Then an unknown object flew toward Xiaoqun's head. It was thrown by the person in the elevator. Holy sh*t Li Xian, are you crazy? Xiaoqun roared. Ah, it's you, Xiaochang? When Li Xianer heard the voice outside the elevator, she immediately heaved a sigh of relief. You scared me to death. I thought it was a female ghost. Do female ghosts look like me? Are you nearsighted? Xiaoqun threw away the things on his body. It was a pile of talismans. Fortunately, they were only talismans and there was no dog blood or chicken blood. Otherwise, he would have been in trouble. At this time, the elevator door was about to close. Xiaoqun quickly pressed the button to call for the elevator. The elevator door opened again and Li Xianer ran out. I'm sorry, Xiaochang. You sat here in the middle of the night and scared me. Why are you here? Don't you know that people can scare people to death? I was worried about you, so I came out to take a look. Xiaoqun said snappily, my good intentions are really unrequited. You're worried about me? Really? Li Xianer was a little surprised. Didn't I tell you before that this female ghost is very powerful and that you can't deal with it? Although your strength in the human world is very strong, it's useless against ghosts. Oh, I actually couldn't sleep, so I came out to cool off. Xiaoqun shrugged and didn't argue much. He couldn't explain that he wasn't an ordinary cultivator, but a cultivator. Then quickly help me pick up these talismans. I'm going to continue to catch ghosts. Li Xianer said as she picked up the talismans on the ground. Xiaoqun shook his head and helped her pick up the remaining talismans. Then he said, why does your elevator stop at every floor? Oh, I pressed it on purpose. I wanted to see if there was anything outside each floor. Li Xianer said, that female ghost fought with me once before. She knew that her spiritual power was on par with mine, so I was afraid that she wouldn't come out, so I went to look for her myself. Then you should be careful. Xiaoqun nodded. I wish you success. You don't have to look at my floor. With me here, the female ghost probably won't come. That's hard to say. Don't be so confident. If she thinks that you're easy to bully, she'll come looking for you. Li Xianer reminded, you should go back to sleep. Wait for my triumphant return tomorrow morning. And I'll go back in a while. Xiaoqun perfunctorily said. Li Xianer didn't say much. She turned around and entered the elevator. Then she continued to search floor by floor. Xiaoqun saw that she was full of confidence. He thought that this ghost had never harmed anyone before, so he was relieved. He turned around and returned to his room, leaving Li Xianer to do whatever she wanted. He was also afraid that Li Xian'er would treat him as a ghost again. The night passed uneventfully. Early the next morning, Su Chuxia got up to go to the toilet. She saw Xiao Qin sitting cross-legged on the sofa and meditating. She didn't know what he was doing, so she asked, "Xiao Chang, you didn't sleep? What are you doing? Did you catch that ghost?" "I don't know. Li Xian'er asked me to come back and said that she could handle it herself." Xiao Qin opened his eyes and said, "I'll go out and take a look." "And?" Su Chuxia nodded. Xiao Qin pushed open the door and walked out. There was no one in the corridor, and the elevator did not continue to operate. Xiao Qin called the elevator and went downstairs. He planned to go downstairs to take a look. As soon as he walked out of the unit door, he saw Li Xian'er sitting on the bench at the door with disheveled hair. There were already many people standing around her. There were owners and property management staff. How is it? Has the female ghost been subdued?" A staff member waited for Li Xian'er to finish a cup of hot water before asking carefully, "Don't mention it. That female ghost is very smart. She actually dared to play with me. She was very fast. After I found her, I chased her upstairs and downstairs, but I couldn't catch up in the end. I was exhausted," Li Xian'er said with a haggard expression. "In the end, I had no choice but to run out and rest." Chapter 734. Xiao Qin happened to hear Li Xian'er's words. He was speechless. How could she be an immortal to catch ghosts with her mediocre skills? Fortunately, the ghost didn't mean to hurt people. She just wanted to tease everyone. Even Li Xian'er was teased. In the end, she didn't do anything to her. If it were an ordinary person, they would have been scared to death. Although Li Xian'er was a little timid, she was fine. "Then when can we catch this female ghost?" the property staff asked anxiously. "Immortal, you also know that this female ghost has affected the normal lives of the residents." "I will try my best. Don't worry, I will take measures to chase and intercept her today." Li Xian'er sighed. "I don't have enough spiritual power now. If I could fly on a sword, I would be able to catch up with her." "Ah, is there really a legendary flying sword?" The property staff was shocked after hearing this. Immortal sect is really powerful. Those who can fly are the legendary immortals, right? Yes, she can really fly." The other property owners also sighed when they heard this, but they were more confident in Li Xian'er. They felt that it was only a matter of time before she subdued the female ghost. As for Xiao Qin, he was very shocked. Flying on a sword, isn't that a skill of cultivators? Is this Li Xian'er also a cultivator? Is it true? Could she really be the successor of some ancient sect? However, there were too many people now. It was not appropriate for him to ask in detail. He just stood aside and listened quietly. Although Li Xian'er failed to catch the ghost yesterday, the property owners were suddenly full of confidence after hearing a few words from her. Those who could fly on a sword were the legendary immortals that could only be seen on TV. Now, even if Li Xian'er had not reached that level, she was still the successor of an immortal sect. She must have a way to subdue the demon. Li Xian'er went to rest and Xiao Qin returned to Su Chuxia's house. At this time, Tian Wangchuan also woke up and was washing up. When he saw Xiao Qin, he asked, "Honey, how is it? Did you catch the ghost?" "No, that Li Xian'er is not very reliable. Let's not care about her and let her do whatever she wants." Xiao Qin saw that Li Xian'er was fine today, and he was sure that the ghost didn't mean to hurt her, so he didn't worry anymore. He didn't even bother to look at it tonight and let her catch it herself. When Su Chuxia and Tian Shaoring heard this, they knew that Li Xian'er was in trouble. Tian Shaoring, on the other hand, was very happy. "Haha, that Wu Lixing who asked me for a house is probably regretting it now." Tian Wangshuo's words were not false at all. Wu Lixing was really in a dilemma at this moment. He originally thought that the immortal master hired by the property management company was very powerful and could capture the ghost with just one move. But after waiting for a day, there was no result. The next morning, the ghost was not caught. Instead, Li Xian'er's hair was disheveled and she looked very miserable. Although Li Xian'er's words were full of confidence, and the other property owners believed her, Wu Lixing's heart was very gloomy. In his line of work, he often encountered haunted houses. Some of his friends introduced experts to do the job, but very few of them were effective. In the end, they all failed. If haunted houses were really that easy to crack, people like him who specialized in real estate would be rich. Therefore, he was very worried about Li Xian'er's final result. He didn't rush Tian Wangshuo that day and he planned to wait and see tomorrow. Nothing out of the ordinary happened that day. Xiao Qin played video games with the two beauties at home. Su Chuxia was an electronics enthusiast, so she had the latest gaming console at home. The three of them had a lot of fun playing games. At night, Xiaoqin cooked some food. He didn't go out and the two girls went to bed early. Xiaoqin sat on the sofa and heard the sound of the elevator coming from the corridor outside. He thought that Li Xianer was working again. In the end, the sound continued until the second half of the night. The elevator went back and forth, but there seemed to be no result. If the ghost was caught, the elevator would stop running. Finally, when it was almost midnight, Xiaoqin suddenly heard a hurried knocking on the door. It gave him a fright. The lights in Su Chuxia and Tian Wangshuo's room were also turned on. Obviously they had been woken up. "Who is it?" Xiaoqin walked over and asked. "Open the door. It's me, Li Xianer. Let me hide." It was indeed Li Xianer's voice outside the door, but it was a little different. It seemed like she was in a state of extreme fear. Xiaoqin opened the door. He seemed to feel something chasing behind Li Xianer, but it stopped for a moment. Xiaoqin frowned and looked into the distance, but he didn't see anything. The ghost must have retreated. "Li Xianer, what are you doing? It's the middle of the night." Xiaoqin let her in. As soon as Li Xianer came in, she couldn't care less about her image. She sat on the ground and panted heavily. "The ghost is very powerful. Her power is higher than mine. My methods didn't work on her. Instead, it angered her. At first I was chasing her, but now she is chasing me." Li Xianer said hurriedly, "I didn't expect there to be such a powerful ghost. I've never encountered one before." "You've caught ghosts before?" Xiaoqin was slightly stunned. Looking at her coarse appearance, she didn't seem like a powerful person. "Yes, but they are all little ghosts that haven't turned into humans. They are wandering ghosts." Li Xianer said, "Those are easier to deal with, but this female ghost has already formed her own will. I'm no match for her." Xiaoqin was a little speechless. The kind that Li Xianer was talking about should be a very low-level primordial spirit. In fact, cultivators didn't have primordial spirits. Other people or animals also had primordial spirits. However, this primordial spirit wasn't called a primordial spirit, but a soul. After a person or an animal died, if there was an obsession, it could not dissipate for a long time. However, it would not cause any harm to the person. It would only affect the person's brain waves and create some illusions. This kind of soul was very easy to deal with. However, those primordial spirits that had formed their own will were not so easy to deal with. However, this kind of situation was rare. It's still my Dao technique that's not good enough. I have to hurry up and cultivate. Li Xianer clenched her fists. "One day, I must subdue this female ghost. I wish you success." Xiaoqin didn't say too much and just wished her well. "Alright, don't tell Xiao Xiao about my identity." "Alright, you can't tell her that you're her boyfriend, but you're flirting with two beautiful girls here. You definitely won't dare to tell her." Li Xianer looked curiously at Su Chuxia and Tian Wangchuan, who came out of the bedroom and yawned. "However, you're quite strong to sleep with two of them. I don't think you're from the 5 Elements faction. You're from the 8 Trigrams faction." Xiaoqin rolled his eyes. "These two are my friends. They invited me here because of the haunting. Are you thinking too much? Honey, what's wrong? In the middle of the night?" Tian Wangchuan walked over while rubbing his eyes in a daze. When Li Xianer heard this, she looked at Xiaoqin with disdain and curled her lips. Although she didn't say it, the meaning was clear. Xiaoqin's lie had been exposed. Xiaoqin really didn't know how to explain. How could it be such a coincidence that he was slapped in the face on the spot? This Tian Wangchuan. Ahem. Xiaoqin coughed twice. "Let's not talk about this. I'll keep it a secret for you. And then I'll keep it a secret for you too. This is our little secret." Li Xianer blinked her eyes. Okay. Xiaoqin nodded. He could only treat it as a secret. Suddenly he thought of something and asked, "Oh right, you said that you can use sword kinesis flight in the future? Is that true?" "Of course it's true." Li Xianer nodded solemnly. "Although our 5 Elements sect has declined like the other ancient sects, we still have some inheritance. I'm the 82nd generation successor. The mantra I'm practicing now is different from you martial cultivators. I'm cultivating immortality." "Really?" Xiaoqin was extremely shocked. "Why would I lie to you?" Li Xianer said proudly. "Don't you think I'm very beautiful now? This? What does it have to do with this?" Xiaoqin was stunned. "Actually, I wasn't so beautiful before. My skin wasn't so good either. However, after cultivating immortality, my physique has changed greatly. I'll soon surpass Xiao Xiao." Li Xianer was proud. "Otherwise, that person wouldn't have come to tease me that day." Xiaoqin didn't know what to say. Li Xianer was really narcissistic. He just asked, "Since you're so powerful and you're an immortal, why didn't you punish the person who teased you?" "My strength is still too low," Li Xianer said with some embarrassment. "However, the level of immortal cultivators is different from that of martial artists. I'll surpass him in all aspects in the future." "Then what's your current level?" Xiaochen asked. "I said, you have to keep it a secret because you saved me. I think you're a good person, so I don't want to lie to you. However, you can't tell others about these things. Before I become strong, I'm afraid that someone will harm me." Although Li Xianer was a bit narcissistic, she seemed to trust Xiaochen more. Maybe Xiaochen saved her before. "Okay." Xiaochen nodded. Tian Suruan and Su Chuxiao only came out to take a look before going back to sleep. They could tell from Li Xianer's expression that she had failed to catch a ghost and was here to seek refuge. They were too tired to ask more questions. Therefore, when Li Xianer said these words, they weren't there. If they were, Li Xianer probably wouldn't have said it. Li Xianer nodded and started to chant the mantra. However, at this moment Xiaochen was really shocked. This was a familiar aura. Xiaochen had only seen it on that super invincible dog in the universe. First level of Qi refinement. Xiaochen looked at Li Xianer in shock. You know about Qi refinement?" Li Xianer also looked at Xiaochen in shock. She didn't expect to hear these words from Xiaochen's mouth. Chapter 735. On TV, in novels, everywhere. Is it strange that I know? Xiaochen also realized that he had said too much, so he shrugged and explained. "Oh, no wonder." Li Xianer nodded and said, "So you guessed it. Yes, I am an immortal master at the first level of the Qi refining stage. My real strength is equivalent to a warrior at the peak of the first level of the inner strength, so I am not a match for that big man." Xiaochen was not thinking about Li Xianer's strength now, but that she was actually a cultivator. Although her strength was low, she was the first cultivator that Xiaochen had met in this world. Whether it was immortal or cultivation, it was just a name. Although Li Xianer's strength was low, she did indeed embark on a different path. So she was not wrong to say that she could fly on a sword. "Then what level do you need to be able to fly on a sword?" Xiaochen asked. "Maybe I need to build my foundation." Li Xianer said, "Hey, I'm just saying our 5-element sect has been passed down for so long, but there is no immortal master who has successfully built his foundation. My master is only an immortal master at the 10th level of the Qi refining stage." "What? You have a master at the 10th level of the Qi refining stage?" Xiaochen was shocked. "Yes, without a master how can I cultivate? Do you think it is so easy for mortals to cultivate?" Li Xianer looked at Xiaochen strangely. "Even if you are a martial artist or a devil cultivator, don't you also have a master?" "Oh, then what about your master?" Xiaochen did not expect that there were other cultivators in this world, and there was more than one. She didn't build her foundation. Her life was over and she passed away. Li Xianer was a little sad. Master has lived for 300 years. Does she have any fellow disciples from the same sect? What about you? Do you? Xiaochen asked again. No, in our 5-element sect there is only one disciple. Li Xianer shook her head. Then she doesn't have a cultivation companion? Xiaochen was relieved but still asked worriedly. We cultivators are different from other cultivators. We have a long life. How can we find an ordinary person to be our cultivation companion? If the other person dies of old age, it will affect our Taoist foundation and Taoist heart, and it will be difficult to advance. Li Xianer said, "So you don't try to seduce me, I won't fall for it." When Xiaochen heard the first half of what she said, it seemed to make sense. However, when he heard the second half, he almost knelt down. How did it become him trying to seduce her? Li Xianer was too full of herself. Li Xianer is too much. Don't think I don't know that you're such a playboy. You'll definitely drool over me. Of course, that's not the main point. You've asked so many questions about immortal cultivators. You must want me to teach you immortal cultivation, right? Li Xianer looked at Xiaochen as if she had seen through him. No need. If I want to fix it, I can fix it myself, Xiaochen said. TSK, you will definitely be tempted. Any normal person will be tempted. You can live for at least 300 years in one go. Li Xianer said, I don't believe that you don't want to. So what if I want to? So what if I don't? You won't teach me anyway. Xiaochen shrugged. I really can't do anything about it. The rule of our 5-element sect is that only one disciple can pass down his legacy. I can't teach you that. Li Xianer shook her head. Then do you know? Are there any other cultivators in the world? Xiaochen asked. Of course not. If there was, my master wouldn't have to live alone for the rest of his life. Li Xian'er sighed, "Sigh, what a waste of my beauty. I can't even find a Dao companion." Xiao Qin slapped his forehead. "Then you can just randomly pick one. Your master is at the 10th layer of the Qi refinement realm, and you're only at the 1st layer. You won't be able to live for long." Xiao Qin reminded. "But I'm only 16 years old. When I'm 60 years old, maybe I'll be at the 10th level." Li Xian'er said confidently, "At that time I won't be afraid of this female ghost. At that time this female ghost will probably be killed by you." Xiao Qin was speechless. "Nonsense." Li Xian'er glanced at Xiao Qin. She was quite flirtatious, but Xiao Qin didn't dare to look at her for too long. He was afraid that Li Xian'er would falsely accuse him of liking her. "Will you continue to catch ghosts tomorrow?" Xiao Qin changed the topic. "No, I have to go back." Li Xian'er said, "Tomorrow I will talk to the property management company. I can't deal with this female ghost for the time being." "Well, I wish you good luck. Set foot in the 10th level of the Qi refining stage as soon as possible," Xiao Qin said. And definitely no problem." Li Xian'er said, "At that time if you are still alive I will treat you to a meal. I don't have many friends. You are one of them." "Then I am honored?" Xiao Qin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Yeah, if you didn't save me and I think you are a good person, I wouldn't say this to you. You can't harm me, but it's hard to say for others. One must always be on guard against others. You are my best friend." Li Xian'er said, "You are the first to know about my matters. By the way, Li Xian'er, speaking of this, I still have to remind you. Although I saved you, you shouldn't tell me so much." Xiao Qin said solemnly, "After all, many people will covet the cultivation of immortality. I don't have the intention to harm you, but I can't guarantee that others won't forget about righteousness at the sight of profit. Even if I saved you before, I will kill you the next moment." Li Xian'er was stunned, and then she thought about it. "So, don't tell anyone about this matter in the future. As for your identity as a fairy, others won't think much about it. They will only think that you are a fraud." Xiao Qin said. "You are a fraud." Li Xian'er was a little dissatisfied. "I am the real deal. However, you are right. I was a little careless before. I won't say it again." "Then I am relieved." Xiao Qin was actually afraid that the matter of immortality would spread. After all, he was also a cultivator. If it spread, it might be disadvantageous to him. While they were talking, it was already dawn outside. Li Xian'er also said goodbye and went to the property company to explain the situation. When Li Xian'er went downstairs, she was surrounded by the staff of the property company who had arrived early. They hurriedly asked, "Fairy, how is it? Did you catch the ghost?" "No." Li Xian'er shook her head. "My spiritual power is still not enough. The other party is too powerful. I am sorry, I can't do anything." The staff of the property company was a little dumbfounded. Li Xian'er was still very famous in the industry. Many haunted houses had been cracked, and she was highly respected. They didn't expect her to have no way. Did that mean that there was really no way? The onlookers were also disappointed when they heard Li Xian'er's words. They thought that it would definitely be done this time, but they didn't expect that even Li Xian'er couldn't do anything. Wu Lixing was also among the owners. At this moment his eyelids couldn't help but twitch. After he went back, he also checked on Li Xian'er's matter and found that Li Xian'er was really a powerful mage. She had a good reputation in the industry, so he also had some confidence. He didn't expect that his confidence would be shattered in an instant. Seeing Li Xian'er get into the car of the property company, Wu Lixing hesitated for a moment and called Tian Wangshuo's phone. "Hello, Miss Tian. I am Wu Lixing," said Wu Lixing. "Mr. Wu, it's only Sunday. It's not Monday yet, right? Are you in a hurry to take back the house?" How could Tian Wangshuo not guess Wu Lixing's thoughts? Li Xian'er probably failed, so he didn't want the house anymore. However, she pretended not to know and asked seriously. No, I suddenly remembered that I don't have enough money on hand. I don't want it anymore. I'm telling you that I have already taken the things away. You can take back the house at any time," said Wu Lixing quickly. "You really don't want it anymore?" asked Tian Wangshuo. "No." Wu Lixing said affirmatively. "Well, then I will go to apply for the property certificate." "I can't change it then," Tian Wangshuo reminded him. "Okay, no problem." Wu Lixing breathed a sigh of relief. He was afraid that Tian Wangshuo would pester him. Although he had already sold the house, if Tian Wangshuo kept asking to cancel the house, then he would be annoyed. In his opinion, Tian Wangshou must have received the news that the property management company invited Li Xian'er to exorcise the ghost, so she hoarded a lot of property. In his opinion, it was also opportunistic. However, now that Li Xian'er had failed, Tian Wangshou had all these houses in her hands. It would be strange if she didn't want to get rid of them as soon as possible. He didn't expect Tian Wangshou to be so happy and agree directly. Shaking his head, he felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't figure out the reason. Wu Lixing took the things and left. In the middle of the night, Xiaoqin went out. He didn't need to observe anymore. Li Xian'er had already observed for him before. The conclusion was that this female ghost might not be willing to hurt people, so Xiaoqin wouldn't take too drastic measures. He planned to figure it out first. Originally, he wanted to catch it and refine it into a second demon to accompany Little Demon in. Just like Li Xian'er, Xiaoqin took the elevator from the first floor. At every floor he stopped for a moment, then continued to go up. Finally he reached the top floor. He didn't find anything wrong. Xiaoqin frowned slightly. When Li Xian'er took the elevator, the female ghost appeared, but he didn't encounter it even once when he took the elevator. He didn't even encounter it normally. Is this female ghost afraid of me? Does she know that I'm powerful? Feeling strange, Xiaoqin decided not to take the elevator. He took the stairs, but this time he didn't walk around like before. Instead, he stopped at every floor and stopped in front of 2 houses for a while. On the 24th floor, Xiaoqin stopped in front of a door. The corridor was dark, and the peephole of the door mirror on the door was also dark. These 2 houses hadn't been occupied yet. The plastic film on the door had not been torn off, and there were a few overdue notices on the door. Logically, there shouldn't be anyone here, but Xiaoqin felt an extremely gloomy aura. Chapter 736. After listening for a while, he didn't hear any sound, but Xiaoqin's subconscious was very dignified. He felt that there was something wrong here. After thinking about it, he walked forward and started knocking on the door. Dang dang dang. However, after knocking for a long time, no one answered and there was no other movement. If it weren't for Xiaoqin believing in his own perception, he would have left at this time. However, he didn't leave. He knocked for a while, pretending to turn around and leave. However, when he bypassed the corridor, he took out his flying sword and flew back along the ceiling. This angle couldn't be seen from inside the house. His whole body was directly suspended above the anti-theft door. 10 minutes passed and there was no movement. 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Just when Xiaoqin was wondering if his senses were wrong, he suddenly heard a faint click sound. It was the sound of high heels. Xiaoqin's heart suddenly trembled. There really was a problem. However, he remained calm and didn't act rashly. He continued to show off his wealth silently in the sky. Finally, after a while, the anti-theft door was gently opened. In the darkness, Xiaoqin could still see clearly with the moonlight outside. A woman walked out from inside. The woman's figure was very thin, and the yin energy on her body was very heavy. After she came out, she looked around and didn't see anyone. Then, she carefully closed the door and walked in the direction of the corridor. This woman's figure seemed to be a little familiar to Xiaoqin, but because of the angle, he couldn't see the woman's appearance. However, he quietly followed behind the woman. He flew close to the ceiling without making any sound, so the woman in front of him didn't notice him at all. He saw that the woman came to the door of the elevator and pressed the elevator button. However, she didn't wait for the elevator. Instead, she turned directly into the stairwell and began to go downstairs. Although she was wearing high heels, the woman's speed was very fast. Even when she didn't want to make a sound, there was no sound when she walked. Xiaoqin suspected that the previous sound of high heels was deliberately made by the woman. Her purpose was to make sure that there was no one at the door. This way, if there was movement at the door, she could completely not open the door. Just a sound couldn't prove that there must be someone in the room. Might be another sound. The woman went downstairs and continued to press the elevator button. Then she continued to run downstairs. This made Xiaoqin a little dumbfounded. This woman was like a child playing a prank. It turned out that the elevator automatically operated like this. With her extremely fast figure and speed, she ran down floor by floor. It was probably the same when she came up. She really didn't feel tired at all. Regardless of whether there was anyone or not, running for the whole night was really unbearable. Xiaoqin was flying above her, but she did not notice him at all. Indeed, it was as Xiaoqin had guessed. She started from the first floor and continued to press the elevator button, running up floor by floor. Xiaoqin was impressed by her spirit. Xiaoqin followed her just like that, watching her go up and down to see what she was up to. After doing this for the whole night, regardless of whether there was anyone or not, Xiaochen was a little tired from flying. Upstairs and downstairs, Xiaochen followed the woman for a few laps. Suddenly, the woman stopped because she finally found a problem. She also felt that she seemed to be followed by something. After the woman stopped, she suddenly turned around but she didn't see anything. The woman was a little confused. She looked around again but she still didn't see anything special, so she breathed a sigh of relief and continued to run upstairs. Xiaochen was a little puzzled. Why didn't this woman look up? Didn't she know that there might be people flying in the sky? Did she have to follow behind her? However, under normal thinking, it was understandable to think like this. After all, how many people could fly? The woman might have been vigilant in her heart. After running up a floor, she stopped again and turned her head to look back, but she still didn't see anything. The woman seemed to be a little puzzled. She raised her head and thought about something, but when she looked up, she found Xiaochen floating in the sky. Ah! The woman let out a sharp scream and was so scared that she fell to the ground. Her face was pale and she pointed at Xiaochen, unable to say a word. It seemed that she was very frightened. Xiaochen was speechless. Is this a female ghost? Why is it that when a ghost sees a human she is scared to the ground? I say, Nye Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Going up and down in the middle of the night, playing with the elevator endlessly. Are you addicted? Xiaochen finally recognized who this person was. It turned out to be Nye Xiaoyu, the Yin cultivator who had saved his life before. Ah, who are you? How do you know me? Nye Xiaoyu's eyes widened. At this moment she also saw clearly what Xiaochen looked like, but she didn't know him. When she heard that Xiaochen could call out her name she was very shocked. Are you kidding me? You are a female ghost. I should be afraid of you. Why do you seem to be afraid of me? Am I that scary? Looking at Nye Xiaoyu's trembling face, Xiaochen didn't know what to say. It was really a failure for a ghost to be like her. How can you fly? Nye Xiaoyu looked at Xiaochen in the sky. Her intuition told her that this person in front of her was very powerful, and she was no match for him at all. Nye Xiaoyu, you really don't know me? Xiaochen frowned and said calmly, back then I saved you because of your kindness and didn't kill you. I didn't expect that you would hide here and scare the innocent residents. What are you thinking? Do you think it's fun or do you want to hurt people? You. Nye Xiaoyu was slightly stunned. Then she realized that Xiaochen's voice was a little familiar. She suddenly remembered. You are my savior? I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you because you weren't wearing a mask. Xiaochen was wearing a white fox mask, so it was normal that Nye Xiaoyu couldn't recognize him. Alright, let's not talk about useless things. What are you doing? If you don't explain yourself today, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Xiaochen said coldly as he looked at Nye Xiaoyu. I'm sorry? Nye Xiaoyu lowered her head like a child who had done something wrong. She averted her gaze, not daring to look at Xiaochen directly. She said carefully, I was controlled again. Cough cough. Xiaochen looked at Nye Xiaoyu and almost coughed to death. Are you serious? How did you get controlled again? Didn't I tell you to hide? I didn't want to, but I was too stupid and my primordial spirit was extracted while I was cultivating. In the end, Nye Xiaoyu said weakly. Tell me what's going on? Xiaochen sighed and couldn't blame her anymore. After all, her life was in someone else's hands, so it was understandable that she was forced to do something. Moreover, Xiaochen knew that although Nye Xiaoyu could scare people, she had never really harmed anyone. She was a good ghost, so he didn't attack her directly. Instead, he let her explain the situation. I stayed in Lan City. It turned out that after Nye Xiaoyu stayed in Lan City, she didn't have much money on her and couldn't afford to stay in a hotel for a long time. So, she started looking around the city and found this residential area. Because this community used to be a graveyard, the yin qi was relatively heavy. Nye Xiaoyu planned to cultivate here. She did not dare to go to a crowded place, so she stayed in a group of buildings that had not been built yet. Anyway, she could find a floor with no one and secretly cultivate. Unexpectedly, Nye Xiaoyu's absorption of yin qi for cultivation was discovered by someone. The person who discovered it was the person who controlled Nye Xiaoyu now, Old Ghost of Shishan. This Old Ghost of Shishan was a native of this graveyard. He built a house here and destroyed the graveyard, but this wasn't something he could stop. He could only choose a building with the strongest yin qi to live in, which was Su Chusha's building. This was the center of the entire graveyard, so the yin qi was the strongest. Even so, because of the destruction of the building, the yin qi had decreased a lot. Therefore, there wasn't enough yin qi to use. Nye Xiaoyu suddenly got a share of the yin qi here, which naturally attracted Old Ghost of Shishan's attention. While Nie Xiaoyu was cultivating, he extracted her primordial spirit and made her his subordinate. The task that old ghost of Shishan gave Nie Xiaoyu was to find a way to get rid of all the residents in this building. After all, if there were too many people, the yang qi would be stronger and it would disperse the yin qi. It wasn't easy for old ghost of Shishan to find such a good place, so he naturally didn't want to let others destroy it. It just so happened that he caught a helper like Nie Xiaoyu, so he asked her to do it. However, Nie Xiaoyu was still kind-hearted. She didn't want to harm others, so she could only scare the residents in this building to move away so that old ghost of Shishan could cultivate in peace. The house they were living in now was empty, and it hadn't been sold yet. After rumors of this building being haunted spread, no one paid attention to it, so old ghost of Shishan lived in it with peace of mind. Although Nie Xiaoyu was a yin cultivator, she was also a kind of cultivator. She could also sense danger. Xiaoqin was very powerful and so was Xiama. So when they appeared, Nie Xiaoyu would avoid them. In the past few days she had felt that something was wrong. However, because Xiaoqin didn't attack her, and it was only Li Xiener who attacked, Nie Xiaoyu had the illusion that Xiaoqin wouldn't attack her, so she came out to take action. Unexpectedly she was caught by Xiaoqin. "Lead the way," Xiaoqin said lightly. "Ah, lead the way." Nie Xiaoyu was stunned and said, "Lead the way for what?" "Take me to find that old ghost of Shishan and kill him. Take back your spirit and then I'll help you buy a house here. You can cultivate slowly and don't get caught again. You're really worrying." Xiaoqin was a little speechless, but since he had encountered it, he couldn't ignore it. After all, Nie Xiaoyu was a very good person. Even if it was for Xin Jingshuan's sake, he couldn't ignore it. Xin Jingxian had asked Xiaoqin to save her. One day, if Xin Jingxian came back and asked about Nie Xiaoyu's whereabouts, it would be easy for him to explain. Chapter 737. "Ah, really? That's great, thank you so much." Nie Xiaoyu was overjoyed. "You're really a good person. Just be careful in the future." Xiaoqin smiled bitterly. "How about this, I'll leave you my phone number. If you get caught again, call me secretly and I'll think of a way to save you." Xiaoqin couldn't do anything about a stupid ghost cultivator like Nie Xiaoyu. However, since she was so easily caught, Xiaoqin might as well help her deal with a few bad guys. And then, Nie Xiaoyu nodded and suddenly thought of something. "By the way, Shishan Old Ghost is very powerful. He's different from the previous Shishan Old Corpse. He's now a martial master evil cultivator at the peak of the 10th level. He's very powerful." "Oh, only the peak of the 10th level." Xiaoqin nodded. Nie Xiaoyu was taken aback. However, looking at Xiaoqin who was flying on the sword, she immediately stopped worrying. It turned out that Xiaoqin was so powerful now. The last time she saw him, he was barely on par with the Shishan Old Corpse, but now it seemed that he had advanced again. The two of them returned to the previous door. Nie Xiaoyu took out the key and opened the door. Suddenly, a hoarse voice came from inside. "Why are you back so early today? Didn't that *T fairy leave?" "I didn't have anyone, so I came back first," Nie Xiaoyu said carefully. "Oh." The hoarse voice responded and suddenly shouted, "Who? Who did you bring back?" "Shishan Old Ghost? I'm here to get rid of you. Come out and die," Xiaoqin said jokingly. He didn't expect this guy to be so sensitive. He immediately sensed that there was a stranger here. Shameless boasting. A black shadow flashed out of the inner room. "You can control Nie Xiaoyu, that little trash with the 6th level of inner force. There's nothing to be proud of. In front of me you can only die." "Oh, let me ask you, why are you all called Shishan Old X?" Xiaoqin ignored the black shadow and asked, "Are you from the Shishan family? Are you all in cahoots?" "Humph, a dead man doesn't need to know these things." The black shadow sneered. His whole body was shrouded in black fog and he swept toward Xiaoqin. Xiaoqin patted the scabbard. The flying sword stepped on the ground and floated in the air. The shadow did not touch Xiaoqin at all. Xiaoqin knew that the black mist on these evil cultivators was highly toxic and corrosive. Xiaoqin did not dare to touch it. "Not bad? A Taoist expert? You can already use sword kinesis flight?" Old Ghost Shishan was clearly more knowledgeable. "Are you here to avenge the female Taoist nun from yesterday?" "It has nothing to do with you. Answer my question first," Xiaoqin said. "You're about to die, yet you still have so much to say. I really don't know how you can be so open-minded." Old Ghost Shishan laughed loudly and snorted. "Oh, you're not going to say it?" Xiaoqin really couldn't do anything to this Old Ghost Shishan. The black gas on his body surrounded him. In other words, even if Xiaochen attacked him, he would have to pay the price. Xishan's old ghost also clearly saw this, so he became somewhat fearless. He chased after Xiaochen with all his might as he sneered. F***ck, I think you really want to die. Xiaochen was angry. Do you think I can't do anything to you? If you could do anything to me, you would have already done it. Why are you running? Old ghost Xishan said disdainfully. Nie Xiaoyu was very worried as she watched Xiaochen run away. Was Xiaochen not a match for him? Why did he keep running? Nethery, it's time for you to show your power. Go out. Teach him a lesson. Xiaochen suddenly ordered. Oh master, I have a unique skill to deal with Yin cultivators. The flame of the underworld directly flew out and pounced on old ghost Xishan. What's this thing? Old ghost Xishan was stunned. The next moment, he was surrounded by the flame of the underworld. He immediately let out a mournful scream. It hurts so much. Under the burning of the flame of the underworld, the black gas around him turned into black smoke and dissipated. Old ghost Xishan's body quickly caught fire. This kind of flame from hell was the nemesis of Yin cultivators and ghost cultivators. This was a heaven and earth flame from hell that specialized in burning ghosts. Not to mention that old ghost Xishan was only a martial master. Even a martial general would be finished at this moment. Ah! Old ghost Xishan rolled on the ground in pain. He had no room to resist at all. Soon he began to beg for mercy. Taoist priest, I was wrong. Don't kill me. Let me go. I was wrong, I was really wrong. Weren't you very arrogant just now? Didn't you say that I was about to die? Who will die? Xiaochen sneered. I'll die. Old ghost Xishan screamed in pain. Please let me go. It's not easy for me to cultivate to this level. I'm just a small ghost cultivator. Taoist priest, please be magnanimous and let me go. Oh? Xiaoyu, did this old thing do anything to you? For example, have improper thoughts? Xiaochen asked. No. After he controlled me, he cultivated every day. Why don't you let him go? Nie Xiaoyu said. Let him go? How can it be so easy? Xiaochen said coldly. Why should I let him go? Xiaoyu, thank you for pleading for me. Taoist priest, I was wrong. Whatever you ask, I'll tell you. Don't burn me. If you burn me again, I'll die. Old ghost Xishan repeatedly begged for mercy. Oh Nethery, wait for a while. Xiaochen said to the flame of the underworld. The flame of the underworld disappeared with a whoosh and returned to Xiaochen's divine sense space. The flame on old ghost Xishan's body was also taken away. At this moment, old ghost Xishan was kneeling on the ground with his face covered in dirt. Xiaochen had asked her to teach old ghost Xishan a lesson. He didn't say that he would burn him to death, so she didn't use her full strength. Now answer the question. Xiaochen said. Oh. Well, West Mountain is a place. Its full name is West Star Mountain. It's a gathering place for some evil cultivators. Because of the rich heaven and earth spirit energy there's an ancient abandoned cave abode. Therefore, it was occupied by the Evil Cultivator Alliance. Old ghost Xishan quickly replied. So you're a member of the Evil Cultivator Alliance? Xiaochen asked. Yes, the evil cultivators in our Evil Cultivator Alliance are all called Xishan or something. The addition of the word old is just to prove that we're old. However, because the overbearing words like old demon, old ghost, and old corpse have been used, some people are called West Mountain Evil Ghost, West Mountain Evil Ghost, and so on. Old ghost Xishan said, actually, the benefit of joining this alliance is to hold a summit every year and then distribute some cultivation resources. There's no other use. If that's the case, then your value isn't that great, Xiaochen said after listening. Don't. It's very, very valuable. If I become the backbone of the Evil Cultivator Alliance, I can help Taoist priest gather information. Taoist priest wants to destroy our Evil Cultivator Alliance, right? Old ghost Xishan quickly said. What does that have to do with me? Xiaochen was speechless. I'm just curious. Didn't you guys unite to suppress the evil cultivators? Old ghost Xishan was stunned. I don't have that much free time. Xiaochen waved his hand. Well, I'll refine a ghost talisman devil for you to survive. However, I don't need you for the time being. You can stay here and be Nie Xiaoyu's bodyguard. Okay. When old ghost Xishan heard that he didn't have to die, he nodded repeatedly. Although refining a ghost talisman devil meant losing his freedom, it was still better than death. Xiaoyu, help me prepare some materials. It's still dark now, so we can go out, Xiaochen said to Nie Xiaoyu. Okay. Nie Xiaoyu nodded quickly. Xiaochen listed some things and Nie Xiaoyu went out. Old Ghost Shishan sat on the ground with a depressed face. He knew that he was no match for Xiao Qin. As long as Xiao Qin used the fire of the underworld, he would die without a burial place. Therefore, although he was very unwilling, he had no other choice. He could only stabilize Xiao Qin first and see if he could turn against him in the future when he became stronger. Anyway, the ghost talisman devil could be broken. Nie Xiaoyu came back soon. Obviously, she always helped Old Ghost Shishan buy some cultivation materials, so she had her own purchase channels. This time, Xiao Qin didn't even bother to use the Samadhi True Fire. He directly asked Nethery to refine Old Ghost Shishan into the second ghost talisman devil. Because Nethery was there, he was ranked third, so Xiao Qin gave him the nickname Little Ghost. Little Ghost. Xiao Qin glanced at Old Ghost Shishan. Master, please tell me. Old Ghost Shishan looked like a slave, but in his heart, he was cursing Xiao Qin. He secretly swore that one day he must kill Xiao Qin and take revenge. The Old Ghost Shishan was a very famous figure among the evil cultivators, but today he was defeated so badly. You stay here. Don't let Nie Xiaoyu's primordial spirit be captured again, do you hear me? Xiao Qin ordered. Understood. Old Ghost Shishan nodded quickly. The Yin Qi here can be used for her cultivation, and the cultivation resources should be given to her first. Understand? Xiao Qin continued. Understood. Although Old Ghost Shishan was unwilling, he didn't dare to disobey. Okay, then I'm leaving. Xiao Qin said, don't scare people anymore. Yes. Old Ghost Shishan sent Xiao Qin away respectfully, gritting his teeth. When he turned his head and saw Nie Xiaoyu, he was shocked. Senior Old Ghost, what's wrong? Nie Xiaoyu looked at him strangely. I have a toothache, but it's nothing. Old Ghost Shishan was not sure about the relationship between Nie Xiaoyu and Xiao Qin. If the two of them were close, then his every move would fall into Xiao Qin's eyes. If that happened, he would be dead. Also, call me Little Ghost from now on. I'm your subordinate now. Oh? Nie Xiaoyu was not used to it. When Xiao Qin returned to Su Chusha's residence, the sky was already bright, and they had also woken up. When they saw Xiao Qin coming back, they immediately asked, Xiao Chang, where did you go? Did you go to catch ghosts? Chapter 738. And it's fine. There won't be any more ghosts in the future. Xiao Qin nodded. However, we might not be able to see the results in a short period of time. Sour, go talk to the open market and buy the rest of the houses that haven't been sold yet. However, don't sell the house in 3102 after you buy it. It's occupied. Don't tell me it's for a ghost? Tian Saori was stunned. Saori, will you die if you don't scare people? Su Chusha glared at her and said angrily. It's really for a ghost. However, that ghost is now my subordinate. He's similar to Little Demon and he's a ghost talisman demon. If you have any problems, you can go to him. Is that male ghost? I named him Little Ghost. Xiao Qin said, there's also a woman. She's my friend. She's very kind. It's really a ghost? Su Chusha was stunned. How is it, Chusha? My guess is very accurate. It seems that Xiao Chang and I are telepathic. As expected of a couple. Tian Saori said proudly. I really admire you. Su Chusha was a little speechless. But it doesn't matter. If you're bullied, you can let the ghost help you. I guarantee that they'll be scared to death. Xiao Qin smiled. Su Chusha blinked. Ever since I met you, I've met all kinds of weird people. It's really amazing. However, I might have to leave. Xiao Qin said. Xia Zhili had already urged him to go back for a meeting to study Pang Fengda and Wang Chake. He could use this opportunity to attack Song Bilian. You're leaving so soon. Tian Saori was a little disappointed. If I knew this, I wouldn't have let you catch the ghost so soon. I have work. I still need to go to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Qin said. Saori, Xiao Chang has serious things to do. Don't keep pestering him. Haven't you guys already broken up? Are you done yet? Su Chusha reminded. You're the one who broke up. We're just temporarily separated, okay? Tian Saori was not going to take it lying down. Right, Xiao Chang? Sort of, but I really have to go, Xiao Qin said. I'll leave in a while. In such a hurry? Su Chusha knew that Xiao Qin would definitely leave, but she didn't expect it to be so soon. Yes, there are occasional things on that side. Xiao Qin nodded. Alright then. If you're on vacation, come visit me when you're free. Sour really misses you. Su Chusha nodded. I will, Xiao Qin replied. After bidding farewell to Su Chuxia and Tian Saori, Xiaochen went to Tianfang province. The car was temporarily left in the parking lot downstairs. It was too far to drive, so it was faster to fly. Of course, Xiaochen could also fly on his sword, but it would be weird to be seen flying in the sky in broad daylight. In the afternoon, Xiaochen arrived at Tianfang province. After coming out of the airport, Xiaochen was hailing a taxi. However, he did not expect that the number of taxis at the airport was very tight. There were no extra cars and there was a long line of people waiting. Why are there so many people? Xiaochen was slightly stunned, but he suddenly thought that the Chinese New Year had just ended. Many tourists who went out to play or returned to their hometown had returned. It was normal to have a large number of passengers. Although it was not impossible to run or fly to the headquarters of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it was too shocking. Just as Xiaochen was looking back and forth, someone patted his back. Xiaochen. Xiaochen was stunned. He turned around and found that it was Lan Xinxin. Then Xiaochen couldn't help but ask curiously, "Lan Xinxin, how do you know me?" My brother sent me a photo. I didn't expect you to be so handsome." Lan Xinxin said, "I'm really sorry. Grandpa and the others brought you a lot of trouble, but they really didn't mean any harm. And, speaking of which, it was me who broke you. I heard from my brother that you haven't been intimate with your girlfriend at home these days. Sai, it's all my fault." "What?" Xiaochen was stunned. "I didn't get intimate with her. In Wang Fantian's opinion, my thing is broken? What a wild imagination." Nothing. Let's not talk about this. By the way, do you want to take a taxi? Where are you going?" Lan Xinxin thought that Xiaochen was too embarrassed to talk about it, so she quickly changed the topic. She had also looked into this issue recently, but she also found that many men were more chauvinistic. Obviously, there was a problem, but they didn't go to treatment, because they were afraid that others would look down on them. So in her opinion, Xiaochen should be the same. He didn't want to admit that his thing was broken, but this made her feel even more guilty. She asked Wang Fantian about Xiaochen's recent situation and found that Xiaochen played with his sister every day. He didn't go to Tang Tang, so there must be something wrong with his body. "Oh, I'm going to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau," said Xiaochen. Really? Aren't you the fake Yang Jianan? How dare you go to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Aren't you afraid that they will arrest you?" Lan Xinxin looked at Xiaochen in surprise. "Ugh, you have to keep it a secret for me?" Xiaochen realized that he had let it slip. He was now using his original face. "NN." Lan Xinxin nodded. "You can rest assured that I won't say anything. Yang Jianan was killed by me. I'm now pretending to be him. You won't harm me, right?" asked Xiaochen. "Of course not. I plan to take care of you for a lifetime. Why would I harm you?" Lan Xinxin shook her head. "Then I'll send you to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It's difficult to get a taxi here. My own car is stored in the airport parking lot." "That's troublesome." Xiaochen didn't refuse. In fact, to be honest, he had a good impression of Lan Xinxin, a somewhat silly girl. If it weren't for the Wang family's aggressiveness, the two of them would be good friends. But now, Xiaochen was a little afraid of being with Lan Xinxin. He was afraid that the two of them would be entangled, and it would become more and more difficult to communicate with each other. He came to the parking lot with Lan Xinxin. Her car was a Beetle. Xiaochen got in the car, and Lan Xinxin started the car and drove in the direction of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. "Xiaochen, will you be staying in Tianfang province in the future?" asked Lan Xinxin. "And I will be here often." Xiaochen nodded. "But don't tell your grandpa and the others or else it will be troublesome." "Don't worry. I won't say anything." Lan Xinxin smiled and said, "I rarely communicate with them, but you can often look for me to hang out." "Look for you? Hang out?" Xiaochen was slightly surprised. "Yeah, in fact, you don't have to be embarrassed. You can ask me out on a date. We can also get a room and experiment a few times. Maybe you will." As Lan Xinxin said this, she blushed a little. "Anyway, I won't despise you. Let's talk about this later." Xiaochen smiled bitterly. "And then let's talk about it. Anyway, if you think it through, just call me," said Lan Xinxin. Xiaochen didn't know what to say. Anyway, he felt that the Wang family was stubborn. If they weren't a family, they wouldn't enter the same door. Only Wang Benpai was different. Lan Xinxin's car came to the door of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiaochen took out Yang Jianan's mask and put it on his face. Then he infused qi into it. Under the effect of qi, the originally lifeless face suddenly became lively. Lan Xinxin was a little surprised. The original Xiao Chen in the front passenger seat instantly became Yang Jianan. She said, "What kind of mask is this? Why is it so magical? I can't even tell that it's a different person. This is the real face." It was peeled off from Yang Jianan's face. "Are you afraid?" asked Xiao Chen. "Oh, you're lying. How is that possible?" Lan Xinxin didn't believe it. "Then you go. I'm leaving. Keep in touch by phone in the future. And goodbye." Xiao Chen nodded, got out of the car, and strode into the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Along the way there were people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau who greeted Xiao Chen from time to time, but Xiao Chen didn't know these people. He just smiled at them. He went directly to Xia Zhili's office and saw that Xia Zhili was studying the 5 Poisons secret book. "Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, why are you still studying this book?" Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. "Oh, nothing to do. This is a very powerful secret book. If you master it, it is said that you can sweep the underworld. Although I can't practice it, it's fine. I'm just looking around." Xia Zhili smiled and put down the secret book. He said, "Don't worry. I won't practice it randomly. I'm not stupid. This kind of unrealistic thing is just a thought." "That's good." Xiao Chen smiled and said, "I was really afraid that you would take it too hard and practice it." "Ah, how was it? Did you have a good New Year?" "I have already collected evidence about what you said. I'm ready to make things difficult for you during the meeting. You cooperate with me," Xia Zhili ordered. "No problem," Xiao Chen responded. The two of them walked to the conference room one after another. Song Bilian, Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang, and Ling Tian, the Deputy Bureau Chief, also came to the conference room one after another. The meeting had begun. However, at the beginning of the meeting, Xia Zhili threw out the heavy bomb that Pang Fengda and Wang Chake helped the Gao family to deal with the Qi family. It directly blew up the people present and made them at a loss. However, looking at the evidence documents that Xia Zhili took out, even Song Bilian couldn't find any reason to refute. He could only sit there with a gloomy face and say nothing. He didn't understand if his subordinate was out of his mind. Not only did he fail to do this, but he was also caught by Xia Zhili. This time, there was no hope for Wang Chake to be promoted to the leader of Team B. It must be known that Wang Chake was also a person who relied on him through Pang Fengda. During this time he had been working to replace Wang Chake, but now everything was shattered. Song Bilian glanced at Xiao Chen and said faintly, "Deputy Bureau Chief Yang used to be from Team B. Wang Chake is from Team B. Let Deputy Bureau Chief Yang speak on this matter. After all, Chake is also Deputy Bureau Chief Yang's subordinate." Chapter 739. Song Bilian's words were actually a hint to Xiao Chen that as long as he could help Wang Chake get through this, he would get Wang Chake's full cooperation in whatever work Xiao Chen had in the future. Unfortunately, Song Bilian had no idea that this matter was caused by Xiao Chen. "Oh, I heard about this when I returned to Songning. I think this Wang Chake is no longer suitable to hold an important position in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He actually colluded with the Gao family's children to harm the Qi family's children. Although Xiao Chen had a hand in it, Xiao Chen and I have a personal grudge. I still support him in this matter, so I agree with Deputy Director Xia's suggestion to launch an investigation on Wang Chake. I believe this person must have done such things before," Xiao Chen said. Song Bilian's face darkened and became even uglier. He did not expect Yang Jianan and Xia Zhili to be on good terms again. Although the two of them had conflicts before, he did not know what they had reached in private. In any case, the two of them were echoing each other. "Well, in that case, let's vote. Those who agree to investigate Wang Chake, raise your hands," Ling Tian said. Then Xiao Chen and Xia Zhili raised their hands. "Good, 2 votes. Those who disagree, raise your hands." Ling Tian looked around. Only Song Bilian raised his hand. Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang had always abstained. "Only 1 vote disagrees. So be it. Start an investigation on Wang Chake. As for Pang Fengda, he is also an accomplice. Although it is not a big problem, he still violated the rules. He will be kept on probation." "Yes." Song Bilian had no choice. He could not ignore Ling Tian's words. He could only accept it with a dark face. "Good, since this matter is over, let's move on to the next topic." Ling Tian did not expect Xia Zhili to suddenly reveal this matter. Originally, he had called the meeting to talk about another important matter. In the martial arts world, there will be a Lunar New Year auction in a few days. At the auction there will be an item that we need. The higher-ups have given us a mission to bring a team to bid for this item and bring it back to the research agency for research. Ling Tian's words caused an uproar among the deputy bureau chiefs. This mission was strange enough. It had never happened before. May I ask what it is? Xia Zhili asked. It is a refining material called extraterrestrial meteorite. It can be used to forge weapons. It is said to be very sharp, but it has more research value. It is said to be a new type of metal. It is said to be a new type of metal. If we can get our hands on it, it will make great contributions to aerospace, weapons, and other fields. Ling Tian said, however, the outer martial world auction is an auction that has been passed down for thousands of years. Even our supernatural investigation department has no way of forcing people to hand over the materials. If you want to obtain it, you can only follow the rules of the auction and bid for it. I see. Everyone nodded. Ling Chuanchen's long as one didn't said. What the higher-ups mean is that this matter is of great importance, so they asked one of our deputy directors to lead a team to the outer world of martial arts to bid for the auction. After the auction, there might be some martial artists who don't abide by the rules and kill them on the way. We must have an expert on our side. But at the same time, due to the strict inspection of the auction house, we can't bring firearms. If we bring those things, I'm afraid we'll be rejected at the door and won't even be able to enter. Ling Tian said, thus, one of us will be chosen to go. After we succeed, we will have to send the materials to Lan City's military technology research facility as soon as possible. Only then will this mission be considered complete. Previously, Deputy Bureau Chief Yang was involved in the Lan City incident. I think it's better to let Deputy Bureau Chief Yang go this time. Just as Ling Tian finished speaking, Song Bilian spoke up. He wanted to mess with Xiaoqin. From his point of view, this mission was full of danger. It was the martial arts world and there were people trying to rob it. If he did not handle it well, he would lose his life. Since Xiaoqin did not know what was good for him, he would teach him a lesson. What? Xia Zhili was shocked. How could he not know the danger? If there was such a ridiculous mission in the past, it would be Ling Tian himself or Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang. Xia Zhili and Song Bilian would definitely not go. He did not expect Song Bilian to say this. He was unhappy. Deputy Bureau Chief Song, you must be mistaken. The person in the Lan City Military Technology Research Institute was Xiaoqin. What does it have to do with Yang Jianan? Haha, isn't Yang Jianan Xiaoqin? This was caused by his own problems. In the records of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he went under Yang Jianan's name. Besides, Yang Jianan was the newly appointed Deputy Bureau Chief. It was reasonable for him to go and gain experience. He couldn't just sit back and do nothing, right? Young people should travel more. It's not good for old people like us to participate in the auction. Song Bilian said. Deputy Bureau Chief Ling, why don't we raise our hands to vote? All right. Those who agree with Yang Jianan leading the team, please raise your hands. Ling Tian nodded. This time, other than Song Bilian being the first to raise his hand, what was surprising was that Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang also raised his hand. Xia Zhili frowned when he saw this. However, he could understand why Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang didn't care. Now that this mission might be assigned to him, he had to participate. Otherwise, according to common sense, Ling Tian and Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang should go. Alright, I also agree with Yang Jianan leading the team. 3-2. This matter is decided. Ling Tian said. This made Xia Zhili feel even more uncomfortable. Previously, Ling Tian did not participate in the voting. However, this time he participated. It was obvious that he was unwilling to lead the team. He had the same thought as Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang. Since someone chose to lead the team, why not go with the flow? Are you guys bullying the newbies? Xia Zhili's face darkened. Hee, I'll go then. Xiaoqin saw that the matter was settled. It was useless to say anything more. Moreover, going to the martial arts world was a good thing. He also wanted to know more about the Quishan faction. Xia Zhili also knew that there was no way to change it. If he refused to carry out this decision, then Xiaoqin's position as Deputy Bureau Chief would be over. He had no qualifications, unlike Xia Zhili, who could not act shamelessly. Xia Zhili was a person who was seriously injured for the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Whether he refused or not, others could not do anything to him. However, Xiaoqin could not. Although Yang Jianan had performed many meritorious deeds before, everyone knew in their hearts that it was done by Xiaoqin, and not Yang Jianan. Even if the current Yang Jianan was Xiaoqin, it was useless if others did not know. In the hearts of others, Yang Jianan was a newbie who had not done anything yet. He had no right to refuse anything. In that case, Song Huawu, Xia Shibin, and Wang Chake will work together with Yang Jianan. Wang Chake will redeem himself by doing good deeds. Xia Zhili didn't mind scamming Wang Chake again. Going to the auction, there would naturally be some errand work. Bringing Wang Chake along was actually bringing along a lackey. If anything really happened, he could use him as a scapegoat. This. Song Bilian did not expect Xia Zhili to make such a suggestion, but he could not refuse. After all, it was reasonable. He could only say in a low voice, Wang Chake is originally part of Team B under Deputy Bureau Chief Xia's jurisdiction. There is no problem with him cooperating. Then let's leave it at that. Alright, the meeting is adjourned. Ling Tian made the final decision. Deputy Bureau Chief Yang, I will send you the relevant information about the auction later. When the time comes, you can choose to go. No problem. Xiaoqin nodded. After the meeting, Xiaoqin followed Xia Zhili back to the office. As soon as he entered the door, Xia Zhili began to flip out. This Song Bilian is really wicked. He actually let you do such a thing. The relationship between our Supernatural Investigation Bureau and the outer martial arts world has never been too good. In the past, they could not do anything to us if we carried guns. Now that we cannot carry guns, it is very likely that something will happen to you if you go. Oh? People from the outer martial arts world would dare to openly attack people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Xiaoqin was stunned. He did not think so much before. Now that he heard it, it did not seem to be the case. They definitely wouldn't dare to openly, but if someone robbed you afterward, they would definitely not expose their identity. When something happens to you, even if the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wanted to find the murderer, it would be a mess. There would be no way to start the investigation. We can't possibly investigate all the sects participating in the auction, right? We don't have that ability. Xia Zhili shook his head. So, old Zhang also saw that this task was difficult. When Song Bilian recommended you, he and Ling Tian immediately agreed. I'll be careful. Xiaoqin did not feel too afraid. After all, it was not the first time he dealt with the outer martial arts world. He had even killed many people from the outer martial arts world. When something happened, he would use Wang Chake as cannon fodder. Well, I can't say more. Everything depends on your luck and fortune. Xia Zhili picked up the 5 Poison Secret book in the drawer and said, this book should be able to be auctioned for a high price. I have no use for it. You can go to the auction and sell it for some pocket money. It will not be a wasted trip. Xiaoqin was slightly stunned. This is originally yours. Take it. Xia Zhili saw Xiaoqin's stunned expression and could not help but wave his hand. Xiaoqin did not argue and kept it. As for whether he really wanted to auction it, it would depend on the situation. In fact, Xiaoqin was really not short of money, but Xia Zhili did not know and thought that Xiaoqin was very poor. By the way, Yang Jianan should have some assets. I will find a way to get them for you. I will open a new account for you and call it Yang Jianan. No one will suspect anything. Xia Zhili suddenly thought of something, so he said, then I will trouble Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. Although Xiaoqin was not short of money, it was not good to refuse Xia Zhili's enthusiasm. Chapter 740. As he spoke, Xiaoqin's mobile phone received a mission message from Ling Tian. In fact, the content was very simple. On the 5th of next month, the Martial Arts Association would hold a spring festival auction. Cultivators above the level of martial arts master were eligible to participate. Each martial arts master could bring 3 to 5 followers. The followers were limited to cultivators and there was no restriction on the level. Other than asking him to find a way to get the extraterrestrial meteorite iron, there was no other explanation. It was completely for Xiaoqin to improvise. However, it was understandable. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau should not have received an invitation from the auction. Everything they knew now was by beating around the bush. It was normal that they did not have much information. When the time came, Xiaoqin could only adapt to the situation. Xiaoqin showed the message to Xia Zhili and said, right, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, if I go to the auction, won't you give me the auction funds? Oh, you bid first and then in the payment link just transfer the money directly. Xia Zhili explained, you haven't experienced similar missions before, so it's normal that you don't know. Coming out of Xia Zhili's office, Xiaoqin called Song Huawu and Xia Shibin to the office. Hey brother Yang, you're back. Xia Shibin was very happy to see Xiaoqin. I missed you. Go to hell. Huawu can miss me, but what about you? Xiao Qin glared at him. Can't I, your little brother, miss you? Xia Shibin laughed twice. Song Huawu was also very happy to see Xiao Qin, but she didn't show it. It's good that you're fine. Don't worry too much about the mission. When we were in Lego Town, wasn't it also very dangerous? In the end we were saved. You all know? Xiao Qin was a little surprised. He hadn't said it yet. How did Song Huawu know about the mission in advance? Of course, after the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's decision is made, they will also send us the mission in the form of text messages. Song Huawu said, it's just that I didn't expect that one day I would start to intervene in the affairs of the martial arts world. I used to act in the secular world. Yeah, it's quite exciting to think about it. Brother Yang, if we kill Wang Chake this time, can Sister Huawu take over the position of Team B's leader? Can I be the leader of Team C? Xia Shibin asked excitedly. It'll be a little difficult for Huawu to take over as team leader. Right now, the position of Team B's team leader is still in a difficult situation. It's also the result of the struggle between the various forces. Let her be the vice team leader first. Once she gets the credit, she'll be able to smoothly take over as team leader. Xiao Qin said, as for Team C, it's basically my and Deputy Director Xia's private territory. No one can intervene. He and I used to control it together and no one else can intervene. As for Team B, he still needs to sort it out. It doesn't matter. I'm not keen on these things. I just want to contribute to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. But now, the more I know about the inside story, the more disappointed I am. I didn't expect Deputy Director Song to be such a person. I used to think that he was quite good. Song Huawu sighed. Although these things couldn't change her loyalty to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, she was disappointed with Song Bilian. Actually, I used to think that Deputy Director Xia and Yang Jianan were jackals of the same tribe. I even wanted to kill him together, but now it seems that he is a loyal person. At least, he is much better than Song Bilian. Xiao Qin also sighed. Yeah, I used to be annoyed with him and Yang Jianan. They always pointed fingers in front of me, but now we actually became his people. Song Huawu nodded. I think it's quite good. I'm now following Deputy Director Xia and Deputy Director Yang. At least, I don't have to be Yang Jianan's lackey like before. I feel quite happy. Xia Shibin said, by the way, this mission may be dangerous. Do we need to secretly hide our weapons near the auction? I'm afraid that even if we get the auction item, we may not be able to walk out. I've thought about this, but it's not very practical. Cultivators are very smart. How can there be no patrols in such an important place like the auction? How do we hide it and where do we hide it? Once we're discovered, have you considered the consequences? Xiao Qin shook his head and said, think about it. If our guns were taken away by these martial arts people, how chaotic would it be? Not only would we have to bear the responsibility, but it might also cause chaos. That's true. Then Xia Shibin asked. We don't expose our identity as Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Just go to the auction as a rogue cultivator or a small sect. After the auction, leave quickly. Xiao Qin said, if our identity is exposed, some martial arts people who are dissatisfied with our Supernatural Investigation Bureau are likely to take the opportunity to kill us. That makes sense. Xia Shibin agreed. We'll try to be low-key and mysterious so that people can't figure us out. If they can't figure out where we came from, they will have scruples when they attack us. As long as we find a gap, we can leave. You guys pack up and then inform Wang Chake. Let him prepare to be cannon fodder. Xiao Qin laughed. I'll inform him. Xia Shibin had been suppressed by Wang Chake many times before. This time he could finally have some fun. After Wang Chake learned of this mission, he looked at the list of people who were going with him and knew that he was cannon fodder. He also knew the contents of the previous meeting. Xia Jili impeached him and Pang Fingda at the meeting, but he had done it after all. He couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. The Gao family's master was still locked up, so he couldn't deny it. Isn't this deputy team leader Wang? Xia Shibin wandered into Wang Chake's office. It's deputy team leader Xia. Wang Chake quickly stood up enthusiastically to welcome him personally. He had to be enthusiastic. Now that Xia Shibin was obviously in cahoots with Yang Jianan and Xia Jili, his backer Song Bilian couldn't compete with two deputy bureau chiefs alone. Wang Chake felt that his days were getting harder. Today he was used as cannon fodder, but Song Bilian didn't even let out a fart. All right. We're going to carry out the mission together. You know that, right? Xia Shibin said lightly. I know. When the time comes, I hope Deputy Team Leader Xia will guide me. Wang Chake had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. Oh, you should prepare well. Prepare to die. Oh no, prepare to go. Xia Shibin looked like he had spilled the beans. He grinned and turned to leave. Hey wait. Deputy Team Leader Xia, don't go. Wang Chake heard that there was a problem. He knew that Yang Jianan wouldn't let him go. Previously, when Yang Jianan was the deputy team leader of Team B, he went against him. Now that he had become the deputy bureau chief and was leading the team to carry out the mission this time, once there was a chance, he would definitely not let him go. Looking at Xia Shibin's words, he knew that Yang Jianan had probably already discussed the plan and was ready to use this incident to kill him. How could he not be afraid? Oh, there's something else? Xia Shibin pretended to be puzzled and turned around. Deputy Team Leader Xia, I was wrong. I did offend you and Deputy Bureau Chief Yang in the past, but at that time I had no choice. I'm on Pang Fengda's side. I'm on Deputy Bureau Chief Song's side. We're from different factions. This is understandable. Wang Chake quickly explained. Why are you telling me this? What does it have to do with me which faction you're on? Xia Shibin asked. Deputy Team Leader Xia, give me a clear path. As long as you don't take the opportunity to kill me this time, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Wang Chake made up his mind and said while gritting his teeth. He really had no way at all. Song Billion had not looked for him since the end of the meeting, nor did he explain any countermeasures. Obviously he had been abandoned. In fact, Song Billion really thought so. In his opinion, Xia Zhuoli and Yang Jianan definitely wanted to kill Wang Chake, so he had already abolished this chess piece. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Xia Shibin looked at Wang Chake with a confused face. This. Wang Chake was a little disheartened. This was definitely the rhythm of wanting to kill him. However, maybe my boss, Brother Yang, can understand. I don't study much. It's better to let the knowledgeable Brother Yang listen to such esoteric words. Xia Shibin said. Yes, Deputy Bureau Chief Yang is a top student. He was still studying in Songning Second High School before. He will definitely understand. Wang Chake was overjoyed. It was as if he had grasped the last life-saving straw. He said with great anticipation, please pass the message, Deputy Team Leader Xia. Oh, then I'm leaving. Xia Shibin was very refreshed. He could finally hold his head high. In the past, Wang Chake's eyes were almost in the sky. When did he ever speak to him in such a low voice? Xia Shibin turned back to Xiao Chen's office and told these words to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen really didn't know whether to laugh or cry after listening. Who said that we want to kill him? Haha, he thinks so himself. Xia Shibin also laughed. After laughing, he asked, right, Brother Yang, are you really not going to kill him? Using him as cannon fodder doesn't necessarily mean that we have to kill him. We can do it in the open and in the dark. We can let him go to the auction and secretly transfer the items to us. At that time he will be the one being targeted. If someone really tries to rob him, we can only say that he is unlucky. Xiao Chen said, that's what I thought before. This is also not bad. Killing with a borrowed knife, but he is probably miserable. Xia Shibin felt that Xiao Chen's strategy was really a good one. In this way they also reduced a lot of risk. However, from what you said, this Wang Chake is a coward. I'm afraid that he won't be able to accomplish anything and will only spoil things. Don't mess things up when the time comes. Xiao Chen was a little hesitant about whether to use Wang Chake or not. I have the same feeling. If he bites all of us out at that time, then we will be F***ked. Xia Shibin nodded. Let's see. Xiao Chen was actually thinking about how to deal with Wang Chake. In fact, the best way was not to kill him but to subdue him. After all, a person with some ability and strength was very helpful to Xiao Chen. Chapter 741. In particular, Xia Zhili wanted to compete for the position of Executive Deputy Director. At that time, the number of subordinates directly determined his right to speak. If Wang Chake could be taken in, then Song Huawu would be promoted. Whether it was Group B or Group C, it would be decided by Xia Zhili and Xiao Chen. At that time it would be much more convenient. It would not be too difficult for Xiao Chen to recover his identity. Xia Shibin saw that Xiao Chen was lost in thought, so he left with Song Huawu to prepare. Early the next morning, Xiao Chen took Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chake to a business car. Wang Chake did not get a positive answer from Xiao Chen. When he got on the car he was a little nervous. He sat in the car very reserved and restless. He did not know if this action was his journey of death, but he did not dare to ask in detail. Xia Shibin drove the car and headed for the location of the outer martial arts circle auction. The location of the outer martial arts circle auction was actually not very far from Tianfang province. It was at the junction of Tianfang province and Dinan province. There was a huge mountain range here that stretched endlessly. It belonged to the primeval forest within the borders of the Great Xia Kingdom. It had not been developed and had also become the residence of these martial artists. This mountain range was called Martial Mountain in the martial arts world. It was the location of many activities in the Wulin world. When Xiao Chen and the others came here, they could not go up the mountain. There was only a paid parking lot at the foot of the mountain. This was not a tourist attraction. Usually no ordinary people came here. It was not known if there was a procedure for this parking lot. Anyway, there was a big sign saying, Wulin Guild Paid Parking Lot. With this huge name, it was estimated that no vehicle would dare to come here without paying the fee. When Xia Shibin entered the parking lot, he was really shocked by the parking fee. 10,000 a day. Take the card and pay when you go out. The toll collector at the entrance of the parking lot gave Xia Shibin a time card. Xia Shibin put it in the car and felt a little heartache. 10,000 a day was really a sky-high price. However, Xiao Qin had been cheated in the Hakanamata desert before. Now he was used to it. He shook his head and signaled Xia Shibin not to argue and just find a place. Xia Shibin could only listen to Xiao Qin. Originally he wanted to show his proof. There was also the power of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau in the External Martial Arts Guild. Maybe they could let him park for free. However, he was just thinking about it. Xiao Qin asked him to hide his identity. If he was exposed because of this parking fee, it would not be worth it. Behind them, some cars also came in. Similarly, they all silently took their time cards. No one said much to the toll collector. After parking their cars, they got off and walked up the mountain. They didn't greet each other and were in a hurry, as if they were in a hurry to do something. However, what surprised Xiao Qin was that the people he saw seemed to be the same as him. They were very careful and low-key, as if they were afraid of being recognized. Some of them even wore big sunglasses, scarves and caps, looking like private detectives. It seemed that not only Xiao Qin was afraid of being robbed after taking photos, but other people in the external martial arts circle were also afraid of this situation. Looking around, the cars these people drove did not have any characteristics of sections. Even the license plates were taken off so that people could not judge the location of the car and the sect of the people in the car. Also, like Xiao Qin, the car had the license plate of Tianfang province or Dinan province. It should be a car rented here after arriving nearby. Xiao Qin breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the license plate of the car was Tianfang province. He was afraid that others would recognize the number of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, so he deliberately asked Xia Shibin to change to an ordinary license plate, which was an empty number. Even if they investigated, they could not find out the owner of the car. Everyone, put on your equipment. Xiao Qin told Xia Shibin and others. Before, he was afraid that people would pay attention to him if he was too well armed, but now it seemed that people would pay attention to them if they were not armed at all. After listening to Xiao Qin's words, everyone put on their equipment. In the blink of an eye, the four of them became almost the same as others. After getting out of the car, Xiao Qin led the way in front. In fact, he was following the people in front of him. It was his first time here, so he did not know the route at all. Fortunately, his perception was relatively strong. The people in front were far away, so Xiao Qin could also keep up. Brother Xiao, why do I feel that these people are thieves? Why are they sneaking around in a hurry? Xia Shibin pointed to the people in front of him who were walking fast. Who knows? It's also my first time here. It seems that it is not very peaceful here, Xiao Qin said. However, just as the two of them finished speaking, a few people rushed over from behind. These people were walking very fast and they did not hide their strength at all. However, Xiao Qin could feel that these people were martial masters, and there were no martial generals. How could they be so arrogant? Get out of the way, get out of the way. The person in front shouted as he ran. Some of the cultivators in front of him immediately moved to the sides, letting this group of people pass. What surprised Xiao Qin the most was that these people did not disguise themselves. Instead, they showed their true faces. They even held their heads high and didn't mind being seen by others. Xiao Qin quietly signaled everyone to move to the sides. Although these martial masters were not in his eyes, Xiao Qin's purpose here was to bid for something, not to fight with others. After these people rushed past, Xiao Qin continued to move forward. However, he deliberately slowed down his pace, waiting for the people behind him to catch up. Just now he saw from the corner of his eyes that a cultivator in front of him could not dodge in time, and was pushed by the martial master who opened the way, causing him to stumble and fall to the side. When this person fell to the ground in defense, Xiaoqin also saw his strength. Unexpectedly, he was also a martial master. In other words, his strength was not weak, but he still chose to retreat. This made Xiaoqin very curious about the identity of this group of people. After a while, that person came up. He was also an armed cultivator, but compared to the others, his armor was a bit strange. He wore a mask on his face which made him look quite different. "Brother, may I ask who those ruthless people are?" Xiaoqin waited for him to come up and then asked while cupping his fists. The masked man coldly looked at Xiaoqin, did not answer, and continued to move forward. "Brother?" Xiaoqin was surprised, and then he chased after him. "Could it be that you are here to make fun of me?" The masked man finally became impatient. He turned his head to look at Xiaoqin and said, "You are here to participate in the auction, but you don't know who he is?" Xiaoqin's heart trembled. Could it be that this group of people is very famous? "Alright, I am leaving. Don't think that I am easy to bully. It is true that I am afraid of them, but I am not afraid of you," the masked man said indifferently, and his body revealed the aura of a 5th-level martial master. "Brother, we are disciples of the sect who came out to gain experience. This is also the first time we have come to this auction, so we really don't know." Xiaoqin smiled bitterly and said, "How could we bully you? The few of us are brother and sister, and even if we combined our strength, we are not a match for you." "Oh." The masked man was slightly stunned, and he looked at Xiaoqin and the others. Xia Shibin, Song Huowu, and Wang Chake hurriedly revealed their strength. The masked man realized that their strength was lower than his, so he believed Xiaoqin's words and said, "So you are all disciples of the sect who came to gain experience. No wonder. I am sorry for what happened just now. I thought you were making fun of me." This person was very open-minded, and after listening to Xiaoqin's explanation, he felt relieved. "It's okay, our sect is here to let us gain experience. When we saw everyone move away just now, we also moved away. You know that although our sect is not weak, we are just newcomers." Xiaoqin deliberately did not say where he was from and only said, "Also, when you go out to gain experience, you have to keep a low profile. The sect does not allow your identity to be exposed." "I understand that." The masked man nodded and said, "I am from the Green Rock sect, and I am currently the acting sect leader of the Green Rock sect. However, don't you think I am doing badly?" "Brother, you are already a 5th-level martial master, how can you say that? You are much stronger than us," Xiaoqin hurriedly said. Our sect is just a small sect. My master, who is the old sect leader, has been injured for many years and is bedridden. The disciples of the sect have all left and disappeared over the years. Anyway, seeing that the sect has no development, most of them have gone to find their own way. So, even though I am strong, I still have to lower my head in front of many people." The masked man sighed and said helplessly, "Brother, with your strength, it will not be difficult for you to rebuild the sect in the future." Xiaoqin said, "Forget it, I know my own situation." As if seeing that Xiaoqin was really a newcomer who did not know anything, the masked man no longer guarded against him. "My name is Jing Xinxiang, you can call me Brother Xiang." "Brother, you are treating me like an outsider." "Okay, then I will call you Brother Xiang." "My name is Chang Xiao and I am a 4th-level martial master." Xiaoqin said, "You are at the 4th-level martial master." Jing Xinxiang was a little surprised. "Then your strength is not weak, and you are a new disciple for training. Your sect is not small. These are all matters of the sect. Forgive me for not saying much." Xiaoqin said apologetically. "It is okay, big sects have their own rules." Jing Xinxiang did not mind and said, "Oh right, you should have heard of the sect of those people. They are from Genie sect." Genie sect? Xiaoqin was slightly surprised. He had never heard of it. "You don't know?" Looking at Xiaoqin's expression, it was obvious that he did not know. "In the past, besides the matters of the sect, I did not know anything else," Xiaoqin said with a bitter smile. "That is true. Genie sect is a relatively big sect and is one of the leading sects among the famous righteous sections. So, don't think that those people who just passed by are about the same strength as me. We cannot offend them. These people are very overbearing. When small sects like us see them, we can only take a detour," Jing Xinxiang said. "Since it is a famous righteous sect, why are they so overbearing?" Xiaoqin asked. "Famous righteous sects are only relative to demon sections. Not all demon sects will name themselves as righteous sects," Jing Xinxiang said. Chapter 742. Oh, then your Greenstone sect belongs to? Xiaoqin asked again. Our Greenstone sect is in an awkward position. We used to be a righteous sect, but later we changed our main cultivation method and became a demonic sect, but the demonic sect doesn't recognize us. Zheng Xinxiang sighed. Now we don't know what we belong to. Anyway, the demonic sect doesn't like us, and the righteous sects don't accept us either. We can only survive in the cracks, which is why many disciples left. As they spoke, they had already walked to the middle of the mountain, but there were many people standing in front of them. They stopped not far away and didn't know what they were doing. Xiaoqin and Zheng Xinxiang immediately walked over. Not far in front of them there were a few people blocking their way. Looking over, they saw 3 black-robed men blocking their way. Some of the people who were blocked were allowed to pass after paying the money, while others were in a stalemate at the side. However, they had their choices. Xiaoqin and Zheng Xinxiang watched for a while. The people they stopped were all cultivators in disguise. As for those cultivators who were barging in, they respectfully sent them away. They didn't dare to say a word at all. There was more than one way up the mountain, so there were cultivators coming from other directions. Some people could pass smoothly while others had to pay the money. Brother Xiang, what is the meaning of this? Xiaoqin had already guessed that it was just some people blocking the way to make a fortune, but he still asked. Oh, it's the horse gang. When he said the words horse gang, Zheng Xinxiang suddenly gritted his teeth. Brother Xiang seems to hate these people? Xiaoqin was stunned. Not really. After my master was injured, the horse gang robbed our Greenstone sect. Zheng Xinxiang gritted his teeth and said, but these people are originally a gang formed by some fierce bandits. Since ancient times, there has never been a lack of people from the underworld and horse gang. If we want to go, how much do we need to pay for the road? Xiaoqin asked. This kind of thing seemed normal to Xiaoqin. Didn't they see the high parking fees in the parking lot below? At least 1 million? Let's go and have a look. Zheng Xinxiang sighed and walked over with Xiaoqin. If you want to go, leave behind the money for the road. This mountain was opened by me and this tree was planted by me. If you don't want to delay the auction, then pay up obediently. Of course, if you don't pay up, we won't show up in front of you. The leader of the bandits in black shouted loudly. May I ask how much money do you need? A shifty-eyed cultivator asked. However, Xiaoqin thought that this person was just a pawn. He only asked to let the cultivators who came later know the price. The auction this time is relatively grand, so the price of the road is slightly more expensive. The price is 100 million. The leader of the bandits said. What? 100 million? Such a huge toll caused the cultivators behind them to be shocked. Wasn't it a little too expensive? They were all from small sects and many of them were loose cultivators. Taking out 100 million at once would basically mean that they would not have any funds left for the auction. The cultivators who came earlier also shook their heads and smiled bitterly. They didn't want to stay here, but they really didn't have the money to go. 100 million was not something they could afford, so they could only stay here and see if there was any other way in the future. This is simply looting a burning house. Zheng Xinxiang said angrily after hearing this. His face was full of anger and unwillingness. Xiaoqin naturally knew that this was looting a burning house, but he thought that these people were relying on this to make a fortune. However, he saw that from time to time, some cultivators didn't pay up and just walked in with their heads held high. They didn't even give the bandits any face. He couldn't help but have an idea and said, those people didn't pay up. Why don't we do the same and break in? Will it work? To be honest, 100 million was not a small amount for Zheng Xinxiang, so he was a little hesitant. After pondering for a moment, he said, since Brother Chang said so, then we can only do this. If you want me to take out 100 million, I won't have any money, let alone buy medicine for my master. The only thing we can do now is to give it a try. It doesn't matter if we don't succeed since we can't go in anyway. Everyone take off your clothes and follow me in. Xiaoqin said. Xia Shibin and Wang Chake were masters who could do whatever they wanted in the secular world. Usually, which bandits would dare to rob them? At this moment, they couldn't hold it in any longer. Speaking of pretending to be arrogant, that was Xiaoqian's strength, especially this kind of arrogant young master. In the blink of an eye, he who had restrained his aura, became a young master with arrogance written all over his face. If he were to say that he was the grandson of some big sect's elder, some people would believe it. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Xiaoqin roared as he constantly pushed aside the crowd in front of him and rushed towards a few bandits in big strides. Behind him, Zheng Xinxiang was like a follower, protecting Xiaoqin. Then Xia Shibin and Wang Chake were the two servants. Song Huowu, of course, was the beautiful girl who accompanied Xiao Qin to the auction. The leader of the bandits was startled. Xiao Qin's aura wasn't fake, but he looked a little unfamiliar. However, the strength of the peak of the fourth layer of Devil Master couldn't be faked, so he didn't stop Xiao Qin. Instead, he silently gave his two subordinates a meaningful glance. Xiao Qin was overjoyed. It seemed that he had rushed through. However, just as Xiao Qin had passed, one of the bandits suddenly exclaimed, "Eh? Aren't you Zheng Ruobi from the Green Rock sect?" Green Rock sect? The leader of the bandits immediately looked at Zheng Xinxiang and recognized him immediately. Previously, when the Green Rock sect was wiped out, Zheng Xinxiang had resisted, but he had been beaten up. Zheng Xinxiang was shocked, and his liver and guts were about to burst. However, he forced himself to calm down and rushed forward with Xiao Qin. "Wait, stop right there." The leader of the bandits made a gesture, and two bandits immediately blocked in front of Zheng Xinxiang. Even Xia Shibin, Wang Chake and Song Huowu who were behind him were blocked. Xiao Qin had already rushed over, but now he had no choice. He could not ignore the people behind him. He could only turn back and said impatiently, "Damn, who are you? You dare to block young Master Chang's way. Do you want to die?" Young Master Chang? The leader of the bandits looked up and down at Xiao Qin. He had never heard of any sect with a young master called Young Master Chang. As professional bandits, they were very discerning. They usually inquired about all the people in the big sects who should not be trifled with, but they did not remember anyone called Young Master Chang. Could it be a nickname? Does it mean that he is a very strong young master? Yes, I am the former acting head of the Green Rock sect, Zheng Xinxiang. However, I am now following Young Master Chang. Zheng Xinxiang had no choice, but the arrow on the bow had to be shot. He could only pretend to be arrogant and said loudly, This is Young Master Chang, right? It is not that I do not want to give you face. If you want to go over, you can, but you have to tell me your name, right?" The leader of the bandits was not sure if Zheng Xinxiang's words were true or false, but he did not dare to make things difficult for him directly. Instead, he turned his head and asked Xiao Qin, "Is the name of the sect something that can be casually told to you?" Xiao Qin's heart sank. It seemed that he was being suspected. However, he could not lie blindly. What if he said something wrong? "Since you are not willing to tell me, then I have no choice but to pay. Otherwise, how can I, Pockmark Yao, live in the future? When the time comes, will anyone who says that they are Young Master Chang, Young Master Ming, or Young Master Lei pass?" Pockmark Yao sneered. Obviously, he was not going to let Xiao Qin pass. "Since you want to know, I might as well tell you. I am from the Kuei Mountain sect." Xiao Qin knew of a rather ruthless demonic sect called the Kuei Mountain sect. As for the Demonic Star sect and the Extreme Ice sect, Xiao Qin did not know if the leader of the bandits would give them face. However, the Kuei Mountain sect was clearly a very powerful sect, so Xiao Qin reported its name. "What? You are from the Kuei Mountain sect?" Pockmark Yao was stunned. Then he smiled and said, "I am from the Kuei Mountain sect. I went over this morning. You said that you are from the Kuei Mountain sect. May I ask what your name is?" "Went over?" Xiao Qin's heart skipped a beat. He had not expected this. However, he remained calm and said, "That's impossible, right? Senior brother and the others clearly came out later. How could they have gotten ahead of me?" He did not know if this was true or if Pockmark Yao was lying to trick him. However, his answer was watertight. "It doesn't matter if they are your senior brother or not. If you report your name today, then I, Pockmark Yao, will naturally give you face. However, if you don't, hee." Pockmark Yao laughed. "I, Pockmark Yao, am not doing this for nothing. If you don't pay up, then please leave. Since you asked, there's no harm in paying. My name is Cheng Mingqiang," Xiao Qin said. "Cheng Mingqiang? This young Master Chang?" Pockmark Yao was slightly stunned. He looked at his two subordinates and asked, "Have you heard of him?" "No." Both of them shook their heads. "I'm sorry, I have to verify your identity. I suspect that you are lying to us. Of course, if you are not lying, then you can pass," Pockmark Yao said. "Then what are you waiting for? Young Master Chang, my time is limited." Xiao Qin was not afraid of their verification. The Kuei Mountain sect really had a person called Cheng Mingqiang. Pockmark Yao took out his phone. This made people sigh. The horse gang had become modernized. He dialed a number and said a few words to the other side, mentioning Cheng Mingqiang's name. After a while, Pockmark Yao's expression changed. He hung up the phone and looked at Xiao Qin. He sneered and said, "Young Master Chang? Strong my ass. You are just the son of an ordinary disciple of the Kuei Mountain sect, Cheng Zhongfan. You are just a nominal disciple of the Kuei Mountain sect. How dare you call yourself young Master Chang? Since you are from the Kuei Mountain sect, I will give you face and not beat you up. If you don't pay up, then go back. Xiaoqin did not expect Pockmark Yao to be so arrogant. He thought that the Kuei Mountain sect was famous and anyone from the Kuei Mountain sect could pass. However, these people did not give him face at all. However, at this point, it was impossible for Xiaoqin to pay up. There were only 4 people on his side. If they passed, it would be 400 million. How could he have so much money? Chapter 743. Even if he spent the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's money, when the mission was completed, there would be people who would use this matter to attack him in Xiajili. Therefore Xiaoqian's face darkened. His eyes flashed sharply to Pockmark Yao's face. He shouted angrily, "That's old news. Young Master Chang, I'm a core disciple now. Are you not going to move aside? That's provoking the Kuei Mountain sect." Provoking? You're not qualified. What can you do if I don't move aside? The leader of the bandits was a level 9 martial master. He didn't care about Xiaoqin at all. Boom. Xiaoqin made his move without any warning. Dark flame palm. Pockmark Yao was caught off guard. He flew backward and drew a parabola in the sky. However, before he landed, Xiaoqin threw out his long sword. The long sword drew an unbelievable arc in the air and pierced into Pockmark Yao's chest. A muffled sound was heard. Pockmark Yao spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. He died with his eyes wide open. He didn't expect Xiaoqin to stab him from behind. He also didn't expect the Kuei Mountain sect to be so ruthless. The instant he was sent flying, he knew that he had underestimated Xiaoqin, who was also this Cheng Mingqiang. This person's strength was definitely not as simple as the peak of the 4th layer of the Demon Master. He was on par with him. No wonder he was able to skip ranks to be accepted as a core disciple. It turns out that he had some tricks up his sleeve. No wonder he was so arrogant. Generally, this kind of nouveau riche was arrogant and despotic. He already believed Xiaoqian's words in the air and somewhat regretted making things difficult for him earlier. But now he wouldn't let Xiaoqin off just like that. He was sent flying and suffered such a huge loss. He planned to get his subordinates to make trouble for him as soon as he got up. In the end, he died before he even landed. You're courting death. A mere bandit dares to obstruct my path? You're simply courting death. Xiaoqin sneered and said, "Let's go. I'll kill anyone who dares to obstruct us." The remaining 2 bandits stared at Xiaoqin in shock and took 2 steps back, not daring to say anything. The other cultivators who had been blocked also sucked in a breath of cold air. The leader of the bandits was a 9th layer martial master, yet he had actually died at the hands of Xiaoqin. Furthermore, he had only used 2 moves, 1 palm and 1 sword. He had died with everlasting regret. Wasn't this young Master Chang a little too strong? Although the leader of the mounted bandits didn't expect Xiaoqin to make a move, it was obvious that he was able to instantly kill someone of a higher level with a lower level of strength. This was enough to prove that this strong young master was a ruthless person. Just like that, Xiaoqin left with Zheng Xinxiang, Xia Shibin and the others. The other cultivators also wanted to follow, but they were stopped by the 2 bandits who had reacted. They were afraid of Xiaoqin, but they weren't afraid of these small sects and rogue cultivators. Moreover, although their strength wasn't as strong as Pockmark Yao, they were still 6th or 7th layer martial masters. The 7th layer bandit shouted, "What? Are you going to chase them away? Aren't you afraid of courting death? You guys attack together and kill them." Xiaoqin, who was walking in front, had an idea and shouted. These 2 bandits weren't good people. Of course, Xiaoqin wasn't a martial arts hero. He wasn't kind enough to help the martial arts world. However, when these 2 bandits returned, they would definitely report what happened here to the mounted bandit gang. If they found out that he wasn't Cheng Mingqiang, then it would be a big problem. After all, he had appeared with Yang Jianan's face and didn't expect to be stopped. Pretending to be Cheng Mingqiang was a spur-of-the-moment idea, and it was too late to change it. "Yes, kill them." Xia Shibin shouted out reflexively. "They only have 2 people left, kill them." Wang Chake also shouted, pinching his throat. Someone within the crowd shouted out. Next, a large number of cultivators surrounded the 2 mounted bandits. They charged forward and started fighting. Punches and kicks were exchanged and the 2 bandits were beaten to the ground. No matter how arrogant these 2 mounted bandits were, They would not be able to withstand a beating from so many people. Therefore very soon there was no more sound. It was unknown whether they were beaten to death or not. In any case it had nothing to do with Xiaoqin. He had already left. Brother Chang, you're too impulsive. The mounted bandit gang is not to be trifled with. Zheng Xinxiang said worriedly, you just said the name of your sect and many people here heard it. When the time comes, the mounted bandit gang better not go looking for trouble. Although the Kuei Mountain sect is the #1 demon sect, it can't withstand a sneak attack from the mounted bandit gang. Oh, I made up the Kuei Mountain sect. I'm not from the Kuei Mountain sect at all, Xiaoqin said. Zheng Xinxiang was stunned, and then became even more worried. You're pretending to be from the Kuei Mountain sect. Doesn't that mean you've offended the Kuei Mountain sect? Sai, you're too impulsive. When the time comes, the mounted bandit gang will definitely not let this go. What can I do? Turn around and leave? However, Xiaoqin looked at Zheng Xinxiang. Elder brother Xiang, I believe you understand that in the situation back then if I didn't make a move I could only return. As for taking out so many tolls, that's impossible. Yes. Actually, it's because I was recognized. Zheng Xinxiang smiled bitterly. Otherwise you would have already passed. I'm the one who implicated you. Brother Chang, you're not a peak 4th grade demon master, are you? You can instantly kill a 9th grade martial master. Yes, my strength is slightly higher. It's almost the strength of a demon general, Xiaoqin said. As expected. Zheng Xinxiang's expression turned serious. He quickly cupped his fists and said, Young hero Chang, I'm sorry for not recognizing you. You're a demon general, so you're my senior. Thank you for your help earlier. Brother Xiang, I don't care about these superficial etiquettes. Let's hurry. There shouldn't be anyone who will harm us at the auction, Xiaoqin reminded. Yes, I forgot. However, those mounted bandits should have been killed. There shouldn't be any trouble in the short term. Young hero Chang, if you've bought what you need, you should leave as soon as possible to avoid trouble, Zheng Xinxiang reminded. Of course I understand. Xiaoqin nodded. As the two of them spoke, they continued walking up the mountain. The location of the auction was the peak of Wu Mountain. The scenery here was very beautiful, especially the higher they went, the more the mountain was surrounded by white fog. It was like a fairyland. At the peak of the mountain there was a large hall. In front of the hall was a huge square. The mountain peak was flat. When people walked up, they suddenly felt a sense of enlightenment. Xiaoqin saw that everyone was walking towards the hall. If there was no accident, that should be the auction venue. Xiaoqin also brought some people to follow. However, the situation in front made Xiaoqin slightly stunned. Martial sects register here. Loose cultivators pay the auction deposit here. One person 10 million. An auction staff at the entrance said to the people who came. This rule made Xiaoqin feel a little dizzy. Why did loose cultivators have to pay the deposit to enter? Soon it was Xiaoqin and Zheng Xinxiang's turn. Seeing that Xiaoqin didn't say anything, Zheng Xinxiang said, We are from Greenrock sect. Greenrock sect? Didn't they disband after being robbed by the horse gang? The gatekeeper heard it and said disdainfully, According to the rules for loose cultivators, go over there and pay the money. Ah! Zheng Xinxiang's face flashed with anger. It was true that his sect was robbed and some disciples left, but it was a bit too much to say that it was disbanded. However, the situation was stronger than people. He suppressed his anger and could only nod and say, Okay. Xiaoqin wanted to use the name of Zheng Xinxiang's Greenrock sect to enter, but he didn't expect that the gatekeeper didn't give him any face. Of course, Xiaoqin could also understand that these people were taking the opportunity to collect money. Naturally, the more the better. You are together, right? Hurry up and pay the money. The gatekeeper looked at Xiaoqin and said impatiently, No, we are from a sect. Xiaoqin naturally didn't want to pay the money. The four of them made 40 million. The auction hadn't even started yet, and 40 million was already in. It was really a scam. Sect? Which sect? The gatekeeper asked in disbelief. We are. Xiaoqin was about to say the Kuei Mountain sect when he suddenly saw Cheng Zhongfan in the hall of the auction hall. He was talking to a few people who seemed to be from the Kuei Mountain sect. This made Xiaoqin swallow the words that were on the tip of his tongue. They were so close and the gatekeeper had a loud voice. It was hard to guarantee that Cheng Zhongfan and the others wouldn't hear them. If they did, they would be exposed. At this thought, Xiaoqin's brain worked quickly to think of a solution. However, before he could think of a solution, he heard someone behind him say, Isn't that the people from the Kuei Mountain sect? Shall lower your voice. The leader of the horse gang, pockmarked Yao, was killed by this person. Oh, this gatekeeper dares to stop him? Does he want to die? The gatekeeper also heard the discussion behind him. His expression suddenly changed. The Kuei Mountain sect was very famous in the martial arts world. He quickly said, "So it's the young heroes of the Kuei Mountain sect. Haha, you can go in after registering." It was too late for Xiao Qin to stop them. Qing Zhongfan was indeed attracted by the loud voice. When he saw Xiao Qin he was stunned. Wasn't that Yang Jianan? He didn't know that Yang Jianan was Xiao Qin in disguise, but he knew Yang Jianan's identity. Thinking of this, Qing Zhongfan walked over calmly and greeted Xiao Qin with a smile. "Junior brother, what took you so long? Come in, come in." There was no hatred between him and Yang Jianan. On the contrary, if he could build a good relationship with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it would be quite beneficial for him. Although the Cheng family had come to the Kuei Mountain sect, Cheng Mingqiang still had to return eventually. At that time, the Cheng family in the secular world would have to rely on the Supernatural Investigation Bureau for help. Therefore, when he saw that Yang Jianan was obviously hiding his identity, he didn't mind helping him. "Ah, senior brother Cheng, it's you." Xiao Qin laughed. When Qing Zhongfan heard this he was very happy. It turned out that Yang Jianan knew him. Therefore he quickly said, "Junior brother, please come in." Chapter 744. With Cheng Zhongfan's guarantee, the gatekeeper naturally did not dare to say anything. After all, Cheng Zhongfan was a genuine disciple of the Quishan sect. The cultivators behind were not surprised to see this scene. After all, Xiao Qin had previously said that he was from the Quishan sect, so it was normal for someone from the Quishan sect to welcome him. "Deputy Director Yang, why are you here?" Cheng Zhongfan asked politely after they reached a place with no one else around. "Oh, I'm here to carry out a mission." "It's not good to expose my identity," Xiao Qin said in a low voice. Among the cultivators here, only Cheng Zhongfan had been in the secular world and knew Yang Jianan. The others naturally did not know him. "I see." Cheng Zhongfan looked like he understood. "If there's anything you need help with, Deputy Director Yang, just say the word. I won't hesitate to help. By the way, I have some things I want to auction here. Do you know where to go?" Xiao Qin originally wanted to ask, but since he had an acquaintance like Cheng Zhongfan, he would not stand on ceremony. "Oh, the Quishan sect also has some things to auction. It's just over there. I'll take you there." Cheng Zhongfan did not think there was anything wrong with this. After all, people who came to the auction did not necessarily have to buy things. They could also be here to sell things. Cheng Zhongfan led the way and brought Xiao Qin to the door of a room in the corner of the hall. He knocked on the door and soon, a middle-aged man in staff uniform opened the door. When he saw that Cheng Zhongfan looked familiar, he nodded and said, "What's the matter?" "Oh, this young hero has something to auction here, so I won't disturb you. Young hero Yang, you talk to him." Cheng Zhongfan did not follow him in and stayed at the door. Although he did not know what Xiao Qin wanted to auction, this kind of thing was very taboo. It was the same principle that the Quishan sect did not want others to know about the things they auctioned. After closing the door, the middle-aged man looked at Xiao Qin from head to toe and said faintly, "You're from the Quishan sect? Didn't you just send something to be auctioned? What, did you miss something?" Although the Kuei Mountain sect had a lot of influence, Xiao Qin didn't seem like an important figure. The middle-aged man was very busy, so it was only natural that he didn't want to see him. "Oh, it's like this. There's an item that we didn't want to auction because it's very precious. But after thinking about it, we decided to take it out." Xiao Qin didn't mind the middle-aged man's attitude. If you don't take out something good when doing business, how will the other party treat you well? Moreover, the Quishan sect had already been here once. Normal people would not think that there would be anything good here. That was why Xiao Qin pointed out that there was something valuable. As expected, the middle-aged man's expression changed. His previous impatience was gone. Instead, he was filled with anticipation. "What is it? Take it out and let me see." "It's a mental cultivation method secret manual." Xiao Qin said, "This secret manual is called the 5 Poisons Secret Manual?" "What did you say? The 5 Poisons Secret Manual?" The middle-aged man's expression suddenly changed. He stared at Xiao Qin in shock. "Is this really the 5 Poisons Secret Manual that has been lost in the martial arts world for a long time? Why is it in the Kuei Mountain sect? I don't think there's a need to explain the origin of the item to the auction house, right?" Xiao Qin was also a little shocked. Was this 5 Poisons Secret Manual something amazing? Why did this middle-aged man have such an expression? I'm sorry, I lost my composure. The middle-aged man came back to his senses and said apologetically, I'm sorry, there's really no need to explain. The auction house doesn't have such a rule that we must know the origin of the item. I'm just a little shocked. This is a secret manual that once set off a bloody storm in the martial arts world. It's actually in the Kuei Mountain sect. Xiao Qin smiled and did not reply. Instead, he took out the 5 Poisons secret manual. Although he somewhat regretted saying those words, he had already said them. It was impossible for him to go back on his word. He did not know that this 5 Poisons secret manual had such a great reputation and origin. However, Xia Zhili did not seem to know about it either. It seemed that this was a matter of the outer martial arts world. This 5 Poisons secret manual is authentic? The middle-aged man took it and wanted to flip through it. However, he found that it was sealed and could not be opened, so he asked with some doubt. This was sealed by Xia Zhili before. The purpose was to prevent the auction house from secretly looking at it and copying it. That would be meaningless. After all, the value of the secret manual lay in the words on it. Few people knew about it. If there were many copies, it would be everywhere. This thing is up to the wisdom of the wise. I'll take it out for auction. If you believe it, you can naturally buy it, but if you don't believe it, there's no way. Xiao Qin said. That's true. I'm too excited today. You're right. These things are up to the buyer to judge for themselves. However, I suggest that we still reveal the contents of the first 2 pages during the auction. Otherwise, it's very likely that there will be an awkward silence. The middle-aged man said, Of course, it will be opened during the auction. It won't be opened in advance. This is no problem. Xiao Qin nodded and said, Everything will be arranged by your side. However, how much can this 5 Poisons secret manual sell for? This book can no longer be measured by its value. However, according to the financial resources of this auction house, it should be about 1 billion. The middle-aged man estimated. 1 billion. If Xiao Qin knew this value before, he would be very shocked, but now he knew that this price was definitely low because this secret manual was priceless. Fortunately, Xiao Qin had a copy in his hand. Of course, if it doesn't reach the price in your heart, young hero, you can choose not to sell it. You can set a minimum transaction price. If it doesn't reach that price, we will return the item directly to you. We won't secretly check it. The middle-aged man said, You can rest assured about the reputation of our outer martial arts auction. It has been held for many years. It's impossible for us to embezzle the items of our guests. I naturally trust your side. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken it out. However, try to sell it as much as you can. Xiao Qin wasn't stupid enough to take it back. This thing would be snatched to death by others. Wasn't this looking for trouble? Xiao Qin was now afraid that others would come looking for trouble after this. If there was a 5 Poisons secret manual, it would be safe. No problem. I will tell them. The middle-aged man nodded and responded. There is one more thing. Please keep it a secret. Don't say that our Quishan sect took it out, said Xiao Qin. That's for sure. Unless the customer deliberately requests to say the information of the provider, we won't say it. The middle-aged man said, Right, young hero, is there anything else? No. Xiao Qin shook his head. Then you should leave as soon as possible. If someone sees it, maybe they will think of something. The middle-aged man said, and then he gave a receipt to Xiao Qin. This is the voucher. You can collect it later. Thank you. After Xiao Qin put it away, he quickly left the room. Qing Zhongfan was chatting with Xia Shibin at the door. Xiao Qin didn't know what they were talking about. He listened and found that it was some unimportant things. On the contrary, Xia Shibin intentionally or unintentionally probed something. Mr. Qing is overpraising me. I'm just taking over as the team leader of Team C. This is also thanks to Brother Yang's promotion. However, does your Qing family still need my help? Didn't they all go to the Quishan sect? Team leader Xia is modest. My son, Qing Mingqiang, will return to Songning City sooner or later. He came here just to gain experience and get the title of a registered disciple. When he goes back, he can also expand the Qing family. Qing Zhongfan smiled. So, please take care of me, team leader Xia. Of course, no problem. Right, where is Qing Minjing? Asked Xia Shibin. Qing Minjing? Qing Zhongfan was stunned. It's okay. I used to be her classmate. I think this girl is quite beautiful. I'm just asking. Xia Shibin smiled. Oh, it's good. She is practicing in our Quishan sect, but she is engaged to Yao Baoang. Of course, it is just an engagement. There is no substantial progress. When Cheng Zhongfan heard it, he suddenly regretted it. It would be great if Cheng Minjing married Xia Shibin. Xia Shibin would soon be the team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. He would take more care of the Cheng family. At that time it would be a great help for Cheng Mingqiang. So, he immediately pointed out that there was no substantial progress between Cheng Minjing and Yao Baoang. If Xia Shibin was good enough, he could pursue it himself, but there was no way to ask for his help. It's a pity. I like her quite a lot. Xia Shibin was a little disappointed. But I'm only the deputy team leader of Team C. It's not enough. When I become the deputy bureau chief, I will see if I can bring her back. AI, if you want to force it, the deputy bureau chief is not qualified. Cheng Zhongfan thought that Xia Shibin wanted Yang Jianan to help, so he explained, the Quishan sect has a backer in the martial arts world. If it were a small sect, the deputy bureau chief of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would be a great existence. They would give him face no matter what, but the Quishan sect won't, unless it's the bureau chief of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. I see. Xia Shibin nodded calmly. I just said it casually. Hey brother, Yang is out. Let's go for a walk first. See you at the auction. Okay, see you at the auction. Cheng Zhongfan felt that he had a good chat with Xia Shibin. When Cheng Mingqiang went back, maybe he could rely on them for help. Xiao Qin heard the conversation between Xia Shibin and Cheng Zhongfan clearly. He secretly nodded to Xia Shibin. This guy is smart. He knows to take the opportunity to ask what I want to know. When they walked to a place where there was no one, Xiao Qin said, there were some mistakes this time. The 5 poison secrets is a very important thing. Taking it out for auction now may cause some unnecessary trouble. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.